Chapter 2588. By Chongshan, don't spout nonsense if you don't know how to speak. Have you forgotten how the divine world's saint kings, heavenly venerables, and demon world's demon king Chonglu died? Feng Xian, frowned and glared at Bai Chongshan. Brother Bai, you've gone too far. Huang Lan said. Chongshan, it's not that I'm looking down on you. Ling Shao killed heavenly venerable demonic sunflower and slaughtered the demon emperor's clone. Do you really think you can kill him? A heaven's chosen child won't die so easily. Think about the heavenly emperor of the last era. You're trying to consign the White Tiger clan to eternal damnation. Xian Sha laughed bitterly as he shook his head and said. Seeing everyone's dissatisfaction, Bai Chongshan quickly laughed dryly and said, I'm just joking. You guys are really anxious. Ling Shao is the Dragon Clan's benefactor. Of course, he's our friend. Uncles, I don't believe that Ling Shao can kill heavenly venerable demonic sunflower and slaughter the demon emperor's clone. After all, that battle took place at the 10,000 Dragons Sacred Mountain. This place is protected by the Dragon Clan's Supreme Emperor Array. He's just a great saint. How strong can he be? Bai Hansong, who was standing behind Bai Chongshan, suddenly sneered. There was a trace of defiance and strong fighting spirit in his eyes. He was the young master of the White Tiger clan and also the possessor of the White Tiger bloodline. He was extremely powerful and had already reached the Saint Realm's complete circle. He had always thought highly of himself and was known to be invincible among his peers. He could even fight against a great Saint Realm expert. However, he did not dare to say that he could disregard a Saint King. A heavenly venerable stood at the fourth stage of the Saint King realm. They were known to be at the peak of the Saint Realm. Their strength was so terrifying that they could probably crush a great saint with a single finger. He did not think that the legendary heaven's chosen child, Ling Shao, could have the strength to crush a heavenly venerable. I don't believe it either. Speaking of which, I also want to see what kind of person this heaven's chosen child is. Also, what right does Dragon Lord Long Outyan of the Dragon Clan have to be chosen by Ao Shing Dragon Lord and obtain his inheritance? The cold and arrogant young man standing behind Huang Lan said indifferently. Hee, two big brothers, I'm also very curious about that chosen one. I wonder if he can break through my absolute defense. The extremely innocent and cute little boy beside Xian Sha also giggled as he spoke. His eyes were filled with curiosity. Bai Hansong and the arrogant young man's faces twitched when they heard the boy's words. The boy was called Xian Ji. He was Xian Sha's grandson and the publicly acknowledged young master of the Black Tortoise clan. However, Xian Ji was not as cute as he looked on the surface. On the contrary, he was a little devil. Be it Bai Hansong or the icily arrogant youth, both of them had suffered in the hands of Xian Ji. Although Xian Ji looked young, he was a saint. Most importantly, Xian Ji's absolute defense was extremely powerful. Neither Bai Hansong nor the arrogant young man could break through it. Ao Ryu and Ao Xingchen's expressions changed. These three represented the White Tiger tribe, the Qilin tribe, and the Black Tortoise tribe respectively. Although their words seemed to be unconvinced of Ling Xiao's strength, it also included Long Outyan's provocation. However, after the three of them spoke, the four clan leaders did not stop them. This was a little thought-provoking. Ha ha ha. Elders, please don't mind him. This boy of mine is a battle maniac. Perhaps he's excited by the sight of a hunter and wants to spar with the Dragon Monarch and the Chosen One. Bai Chongshan laughed. Although he said that he was embarrassed, his face was filled with pride. Ao Ryu and Ao Xingchen were both angry. However, they saw that Feng Xian, Huang Lan, and Xian Sha's eyes were shining brightly. They did not say anything. It was obvious that they agreed with Bai Chongshan's words. Ao Ryu and Ao Xingchen were both shocked and furious. Their hearts were filled with incomparable bitterness. The dragon race was weak, and even their little brother in the past could clearly probe and provoke them now. They both felt a trace of sorrow. When would the dragon tribe be able to regain the glory of the ancient times? You think you're qualified to challenge my cousin? If you want to die, I can fulfill your wish. At this moment, an extremely domineering and arrogant voice sounded in the void. Boom! A blazing divine light rose in the distance. A vast dragon's aura gushed out and emitted a primitive and ancient aura. A 9-colored divine dragon crossed the void like a rainbow bridge. In an instant, 2 figures stepped on the 9-colored divine dragon and appeared in front of everyone. It was Long Outyen and Long Xiao Xiao. Long Outyen was wearing golden battle armor. His figure was slender and handsome. His long hair danced in the wind, emitting a wild aura. Especially the domineering and arrogant look in his eyes made him look even more dignified. His eyes were blazing and sharp. He looked directly at the 4 clan leaders without a trace of fear. Long Xiao Xiao's white dress fluttered in the wind. She looked beautiful and elegant. Her body was surrounded by a mysterious aura, ethereal and otherworldly. The 2 of them stood together like a couple of immortals. They looked extremely compatible. Long Outyen. A glint flashed across the eyes of the 4 clan leaders as they looked at Long Outyen, scrutinizing him. This was the first time they saw Long Outyen. They were very curious why Long Xiao Xiao was willing to give the dragon monarch position to someone who came out of nowhere. One had to admit that Long Outyen was very good-looking. His appearance and temperament alone could crush Bai Hansong and the arrogant young man. Moreover, Long Outyen wasn't a legendary sage to be. He and Long Xiao Xiao were surrounded by a powerful saint's aura. It was obvious that they had become saints. Humph. You're Long Outyen. You're just an early-stage saint. How can you become the dragon monarch of the dragon tribe? It seems like the dragon tribe has no one else. Bai Hansong stared at Long Outyen and said coldly. There was a trace of hostility and anger in his eyes. Why is this kid so hostile? What does it have to do with him that I'm the dragon monarch of the dragon tribe? I didn't eat his rice. Long Outyen's heart skipped a beat as he transmitted his voice to Long Xiao Xiao beside him. Don't underestimate him. His name is Bai Hansong. He's the young clan leader of the White Tiger tribe. Although he's a perfected saint, he once killed a great saint. The reason why he's so hostile to you probably has something to do with me. The 4 great saint tribes are coming aggressively. You have to be careful. Long Xiao Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of worry. She transmitted her voice to Long Outyen. Something to do with you? What's going on? Long Outyen asked through telepathy with an interested look on his face. It's not a big deal. It's just that Bai Chongshan once proposed to my husband. He wanted me to marry Bai Hansong. However, my husband and I didn't agree. We even said, how can a dragon girl marry a dog's son? So. Long Xiao Xiao smiled bitterly. Please remember the domain name of this book. Mobile version website. Chapter 2589. So it's my rival in love. How can a dragon lady marry a dog? Hee, father-in-law is right. This guy looks like a thief. I can tell he's up to no good. Wait for your husband to take care of him for you. Long Outyen's eyes lit up as he chuckled. In any case, be careful. Long Xiao Xiao rolled her eyes at Long Outyen and transmitted her voice to him. Long Outyen and Long Xiao Xiao descended from the sky. Long Xiao Xiao transmitted her voice to Long Outyen and introduced the people of the 4 sacred clans to him. She wore a smile on her face as she greeted the 4 patriarchs. After all, the 5 great clans were united on the surface, and the 4 clan leaders were Long Xiao Xiao's elders. She couldn't possibly lose her manners. Although Bai Hansong didn't know what was going on between Long Outyen and Long Xiaolong, but when he saw this pair of adulterers flirting with each other, his heart burned with anger. Especially when Long Outyen ignored him, he was so angry that he wanted to go crazy. Long Outyen, how dare you ignore me? Do you dare to come down and fight with me? Bai Hansong stared at Long Outyen and said coldly. Who are you? How dare you yell in front of this monarch? How impudent! Even your father has to bow when he sees this monarch. Who do you think this monarch is? How can I fight with you? Long Outyen rolled his eyes and didn't even look at Bai Hansong. After hearing Long Outyen's words, the 4 clan leaders rolled their eyes and pretended that they didn't hear Long Outyen. After all, the Dragon Clan was the leader of the 5 great clans in name, and the other 4 great clans were their underlings. That was why the clan leader of the Dragon Clan could become the Dragon Monarch. He was the monarch of the 5 great clans, and the other 4 clan leaders had to bow when they saw the Dragon Monarch. However, this was something that happened many years ago. Ever since the Dragon Clan declined, the other 4 great clans didn't put the Dragon Clan in their eyes. Bai Hansong was about to explode when he saw Long Outyen's attitude. He glared at Long Outyen and said, "Long Outyen, do you only know how to talk? If you want to become a dragon monarch, you must have extraordinary combat strength and supreme talent. If you don't dare to fight me, it means that you are afraid. What qualifications do you have to become the dragon monarch of the Dragon Clan?" Long Outyen rolled his eyes and said, "What does it have to do with you whether I'm the Dragon Lord or not? Did I drink your water or eat your rice? This is an internal matter of my Dragon Clan. Do I need you to blindly worry about it? Moreover, I, Long Outyen, have obtained the fortune of the heavenly Tao. My talent is extraordinary and my combat strength is unparalleled. 3 months ago, I led the Dragon Clan to kill celestial venerables and imperial emperors. My battle achievements are outstanding. Do you have the ability to do so?" Even Feng Xian, Huang Lan, and Xian Sha were speechless when they saw how shameless Long Outyen was. Even Long Xiaoxiao, Ao Ryu, and Ao Xingqian felt their cheeks burning when they heard Long Outyen's words. Extraordinary talent and unparalleled battle prowess. Who would praise themselves like that? Killing celestial venerables and slaughtering imperial emperors? Does this kid think he's an imperial emperor or a supreme great emperor? He didn't even blink when bragging in front of so many people. The 4 clan leaders suddenly felt that this dragon sovereign of the Dragon Clan was a little too unreliable. Did they even need to test someone like him? Long Outyen, I, Bai Hansong, want to challenge you. Do you dare to fight me? Bai Hansong was about to explode from anger because of Long Outyen. His eyes were bloodshot as he pointed at Long Outyen and roared. "Challenge me? Are you sure you want to be abused?" Long Outyen said disdainfully. "Long Outyen, if you're a man, then fight me fair and square. Stop spouting so much nonsense." Bai Hansong said coldly. "How do you know if I'm a man or not? Moreover, what's my status and what's yours? If you want to fight me, you'll have to pay a price, right?" Long Outyen said with a proud smile. "What will it take for you to accept my challenge?" Bai Hansong said through gritted teeth. He felt that his patience was reaching its limit. If it weren't for the fact that he still had some rationality left, he would have hacked this bastard to death. "If you want to challenge me, sure. If you lose to me, then you'll be my underling and listen to everything I say. How about that?" Long Outyen said after some thought. "Sure, but you have to fight me fair and square. You can't use the dragon race's Supreme Emperor formation or the ancestral dragon Imperial Jade Seal. Otherwise, there's no need to fight anymore." Bai Hansong said with extreme caution. He felt that it was necessary to remind Long Outyen. Otherwise, with this bastard's temper, he might really use the ancestral dragon Imperial Jade Seal or activate the dragon race's Supreme Emperor formation. If that happened, he would have nowhere to cry. "You're too much of a coward. You don't even want to see the dragon race's 1,000 dragons Imperial Jade Seal and the ancestral dragon Imperial Jade Seal? Fine, I'll fulfill your wish." Long Outyen said with some regret. Bai Hansong felt the veins on his forehead throbbing. This bastard is really planning to use the ancestral dragon Imperial Jade Seal and the 1,000 dragons Imperial Jade Seal? Xuanji and the arrogant young man exchanged glances. They suddenly felt that this dragon sovereign was no ordinary person. The battle hadn't even started yet, but Bai Hansong was about to explode from anger because of Long Outyen. The black-robed woman behind Feng Xian looked at Long Outyen with a complicated look in her eyes. Cough cough. Elders, little princess, since the dragon sovereign has agreed, why don't we let them have a spar? Young people are full of energy. Our 5 sacred clans are of the same branch, so we can take this opportunity to let these juniors have a spar and strengthen their relationship. Bai Chongshan said with a light cough when he saw that the time was right. Since the dragon sovereign has agreed, we have no objections. Ao Ryu and Ao Xingqian looked at each other and said with a bitter smile. This dragon sovereign is really troublesome. They were a little angry at Long Outyen for being too rash. The 4 sacred clans were clearly trying to test him, but he just had to jump into their trap. They had all heard of Bai Hansong's reputation. He was said to be invincible in the saint realm and had the battle record of killing a great saint. Long Outyen had just broken through to the saint realm, so how could he be a match for Bai Hansong? If he were to be defeated by Bai Hansong, then it would be a big joke. Long Outyen was the current dragon sovereign, and he represented the entire dragon clan. If the dragon sovereign were to be defeated by Bai Hansong, the entire dragon clan would lose face. The experts of the demon realm probably couldn't wait for the dragon clan to be humiliated. Elders, don't worry, Long Outyen won't be defeated. Long Xiaoxiao wasn't worried at all as she transmitted her voice to Ao Xingqian and Ao Ryu. Long Outyen, make your move. Let me see what qualifications you have to be the dragon sovereign. Bai Hansong's eyes flashed coldly as he stared at Long Outyen. Boom! Blood energy rose around his body as a murderous aura spread out. Divine light blazed and dazzled, and there was a faint buzzing sound that made his entire being shine. Behind Bai Hansong, an endless amount of murderous aura gathered and formed the phantom of a white tiger that stepped on the chaos, exuding a ferocious aura. Please remember the domain name of this book. Mobile reading website. Chapter 2590. Inside the 10,000 Dragons Sacred Mountain, Bai Hansong, the young lord of the White Tiger tribe, challenged the dragon sovereign, Long Outyen. Bai Hansong was at the Saint Perfection realm, and it was said that he could have broken through to the Great Saint realm a long time ago. However, he suppressed his cultivation in order to cultivate a supreme monarch art of the White Tiger tribe. In Bai Hansong's opinion, he would definitely win this battle. As for the reason why he challenged Long Outyen, he had already thought it through carefully. Furthermore, he had already received the tacit approval of the 4 clan leaders. This time, he had come to the Dragon Clan to test the Dragon Clan. Only then would he be able to determine the dominance of the 5 holy clans. Only then would he be able to negotiate the following matters. Long Outyen, are you sure you want me to make the first move? You're only at the early saint realm. If I make the first move, you'll definitely lose. Bai Hansong stared at Long Outyen and said slowly. So you know that I'm only at the early saint realm? You're at the Saint Perfection realm, which is 3 small realms higher than me. If you have the nerve to challenge me, why would you be embarrassed to make the first move? Hypocrite. Long Outyen stood opposite Bai Hansong and said casually. There was a trace of disdain in his eyes. For some reason, Long Outyen's words could always ignite the anger in Bai Hansong's heart and make him fly into a rage. He felt that he could no longer talk nonsense with Long Outyen. If he continued talking, he would be angered to death by Long Outyen before the fight even started. Roar! A tiger's roar resounded through the void. In an instant, the surrounding void shook violently. The devouring chi condensed into a giant white tiger that seemed to have come alive and pounced on Long Outyen. 3 moves. Bai Hansong, if you can take 3 moves from me, I, Long Outyen, will admit defeat. Long Outyen smiled proudly as if he did not care about Bai Hansong's attack at all. Arrogant. Bai Hansong laughed out of anger, and the huge white tiger pounced, opening its bloody maw and swiping at Long Outyen's head with its sharp claws. Long Outyen is too arrogant. Feng Xian shook her head. There was a trace of disappointment in her eyes. Defeat Bai Hansong in 3 moves. Even a great saint would not dare to say such a thing. She originally thought that Long Outyen must be extraordinary since he was able to become the dragon sovereign. However, it seemed like he was just an arrogant person. The ignorant are truly fearless. Bai Chongshan chuckled coldly as he spoke. Although Xian Sha and Huang Lan did not say anything, they both frowned. Clearly, they thought that Long Outyen was a little too arrogant. As the tiger pounced towards Long Outyen's eyes flashed with a powerful battle intent. Roar! A dragon's roar rang out as a huge dragon radiating chaotic light soared into the sky from behind Long Outyen. In an instant, the wind and clouds changed as a supreme sword intent erupted. It was as if a dragon had left the abyss and soared to the 9 heavens. It turned into a sword chi of supreme yang. Puff! The white tiger exploded with a boom. Terrifying sword chi wreaked havoc, forming a domain of swords that enveloped Bai Hansong. The mighty extreme Dao Emperor weapon exploded. In an instant, Bai Hansong's face turned pale. His eyes were filled with shock and anger. Long Outyen, you broke your promise. Bai Hansong roared in grief and indignation. Rumble. Bai Hansong staggered backward as if he had been struck by lightning. A terrifying sword intent rose and exuded a vast dragon's might. It turned into an ancient sword in the shape of a dragon. It spat out chaotic light and landed 3 inches away from Bai Hansong's head. The supreme killing intent sent chills down Bai Hansong's spine. Bai Hansong could sense that Long Outyen could slay him with a single thought. You've lost. Long Outyen said flatly. Puff. I'm not convinced. Bai Hansong spat out a mouthful of blood when he heard Long Outyen's words. His aura weakened and he pointed at Long Outyen with a trembling finger. He was about to go mad from anger. The ancient sword in Long Outyen's hand was an extreme Dao Emperor weapon. Although Bai Hansong was powerful, he was not powerful enough to fight against an extreme Dao Emperor weapon. It was supposed to be a fair fight, but Long Outyen had used an extreme Dao Emperor weapon. This was bullying. Bai Hansong's eyes were red and he felt so wronged that he was about to cry. Even the 4 clan leaders were shocked by Long Outyen's domineering and fierce attack. Before they could react, Bai Hansong had been defeated. Bai Chongshan, in particular, was furious. He almost attacked, but he could feel that Long Outyen did not have any killing intent, so he held himself back. Long Outyen, it was supposed to be a fair fight, but you used an extreme Dao Emperor weapon. Do you really think that the White Tiger clan is easy to bully? Bai Chongshan stared at Long Outyen and said coldly. Does the dragon sovereign of the dragon clan only know how to bully others with an extreme Dao Emperor weapon? Huang Lan also said coldly. If he used an extreme Dao Emperor weapon, he could even kill a saint ruler. This battle has lost its meaning. Xian Sha shook his head and said. Feng Xian's eyes revealed a trace of disappointment. Was the dragon sovereign of the dragon clan so cowardly? He did not even have the courage to fight a fair fight. For clan leaders, I did not use the ancestral dragon imperial jade seal, nor did I activate the 1,000 dragons imperial greeting formation, right? Long Outyen saw the dissatisfaction on the 4 clan leaders' faces and smiled faintly. The 4 clan leaders were stunned. My agreement with Little Bai was that I would not use the ancestral dragon imperial jade seal nor activate the 1,000 dragons imperial greeting formation. I did not break the agreement, did I? Since I did not break the agreement, what right do you have to say that I'm bullying? Long Outyen's eyes turned sharp. Bastard, how would I know that you have a second extreme Dao Emperor weapon other than the ancestral dragon imperial jade seal? Bai Hansong was so angry that his body trembled. His eyes were filled with anger and jealousy. Damn it, that bastard actually had 2 extreme Dao Emperor armaments? Could that be the Dragon Abyss sword? Feng Xian's eyes suddenly flashed as she said in surprise. The Dragon Abyss sword? The Dragon Abyss sword of Ao Sheng Dragon Sovereign? Wasn't the Dragon Abyss sword broken in the battle 1,000,000 years ago? There was also a trace of surprise in Xian Sha's eyes. They had naturally heard of the Dragon Abyss sword. It was the second Extreme Dao Emperor weapon in the Dragon Clan other than the ancestral Dragon Imperial Jade Seal. Among the 5 Saint clans, only the Dragon Clan had 2 Extreme Dao Emperor weapons. However, the Dragon Abyss sword had been broken in the tragic battle a million years ago. Its whereabouts were unknown after that. How did it appear in Long Outyen's hands? Although it's a little damaged, it's still a complete Extreme Dao Emperor weapon. Feng Xian's eyes flashed as she stared deeply at Long Outyen. Chapter 2591. They all knew that the Long Yuan sword was completely destroyed a million years ago. Even if Long Outyen had inherited Ao Sheng Long Lord's legacy, it would at most be an incomplete Long Yuan sword. However, the Long Yuan sword in Long Outyen's hand was complete. She was afraid that there was something she didn't know about. Long Xiaoxiao smiled faintly. The Long Yuan sword's tip was found by Long Ao and Long Xiaoxiao after searching the entire demon world. It had always been in the dragon tribe's treasury. This time, Long Outyen and Long Xiaoxiao had entered the dragon tribe's treasury and found the Long Yuan sword's tip by accident. They had passed the divine tribulation 3 months ago. The reason why they had been in seclusion was to refine the Long Yuan sword. I am the successor of Ao Sheng Long Lord. The Long Yuan sword is naturally passed down to me by Ao Sheng Long Lord. Why can't I use the Long Yuan sword to fight against my enemies? Xiao Bai, if you have an Extreme Dao Emperor weapon, you can take it out. If not, stop talking nonsense. An Extreme Dao Emperor weapon is also a part of one's strength. If you fight against your enemies, will your enemies be fair to you? How childish. Long Outyen smiled proudly. The 4 clan leaders' faces darkened. Each of the 4 great saint clans had an Extreme Dao Emperor weapon. They were supreme treasures that could stabilize one's fate. Even the clan leaders could not use them casually. They were all in the hands of the old ancestors of the 4 great saint clans. Where could Bai Hansong get an Extreme Dao Emperor weapon? You. Blarg, Bai Hansong pointed at Long Outyen. His eyes were filled with disbelief as he spat out another mouthful of blood. He had never seen such a shameless person. No one had expected Bai Hansong to spit out blood because of Long Outyen. One should know that although Long Outyen had taken out the Long Yuan sword, he did not go all out. Bai Hansong's injuries were not serious. However, after being provoked by Long Outyen's words, he was enraged and his injuries worsened. This guy is really arrogant. He is even more shameless than me. Xian Ji muttered to himself as he looked at Long Outyen thoughtfully. The cold and arrogant young man's face turned black. Xian Ji was already shameless enough. He did not expect that Long Outyen was not ashamed of taking out an Extreme Dao Emperor weapon. Instead, he was pleased with himself. This Long Outyen is not simple. Maybe he's just playing dumb. No matter what, I have to test him. The arrogant young man thought to himself. Then, he took a step forward and a strong fighting spirit appeared in his eyes. Huang Ju, leave this opportunity to me. I'd like to see if Long Outyen can break through my absolute defense. Xian Ji chuckled as if he knew what the arrogant young man was thinking. He immediately blocked the young man's path. Yo, there are 2 more who aren't afraid of death and want to fight with this monarch. Long Outyen laughed proudly when he saw Huang Ju and Xuanji who were eager to give it a try. Brother Long Outyen, little brother Xuanji, as the dragon god of the dragon race, you can't possibly use an Extreme Dao monarch weapon to bully a child like me, right? Why don't you give me some pointers? Xian Ji chuckled as he walked out. He looked innocent and naive as he spoke to Long Outyen. His eyes were extremely clear. The young clan leader of the Black Tortoise tribe? Long Outyen's eyes revealed a strange look. Although Xian Ji looked innocent and cute, Long Outyen had a feeling that this kid was up to no good. He was like a hidden little devil. If you want to challenge me, that's not a problem. Don't worry, I won't use the Long Yuan sword or the ancestral dragon Imperial Jade Seal. Let's have a fair fight. Long Outyen said nonchalantly. The Long Yuan sword turned into a ray of light and instantly flew back into Long Outyen's glabella to be nourished. Brother Long Outyen, didn't you say that you wanted to have a fair fight with me? Don't lie to me. Otherwise, I'll be angry. Xian Ji said pitifully. Don't worry. Little brother, you're so cute. You're much more pleasing to the eye than Xiao Bai. I won't let you lose so badly. Long Outyen said with a smile. Long Outyen, be careful. Xian Ji isn't a good person. He was born with the black tortoise sacred body and has the supreme super ability, absolute defense. Unless you're a realm higher than him, you won't be able to break through his absolute defense. Long Xiao was afraid that Long Outyen would be at a disadvantage and whispered to him through voice transmission. Absolute defense? Isn't that just a turtle shell? Don't worry, I'll let this kid understand that there's no such thing as absolute defense. Long Outyen sneered. The 4 clan leaders expressed their agreement. This time, their purpose was to test the strength of the dragon tribe. They might as well not hide and pretend to be polite. They had to find out the depth of the dragon god's strength. Perhaps, they could force the chosen one behind him to show himself. Brother Long Outyen, shall I make the first move? Xian Ji said as he blinked his big eyes. Come on, little brother. I won't be so heavy-handed. Long Outyen said with a smile. Boom. Xian Ji nodded. A black divine light surged around him and formed a vast ocean behind him. His eyes turned blood red in an instant. A black fist broke through the void and blasted towards Long Outyen's head. Black Tortoise Void Fist. This was the supreme fist technique of the Black Tortoise tribe. It could pierce through the void and break through the boundaries of distance. It was extremely sinister and ruthless. Xian Ji and Long Outyen seemed to be a few hundred feet apart. However, Xian Ji's punch was as fast as lightning. In the next moment, it was in front of Long Outyen. Boom! Long Outyen might look carefree, but he was on guard against Xian Ji. When he saw Xian Ji's attack, he punched out as well. Golden blood surged and rushed out like a roaring divine dragon. In an instant, it collided with Xian Ji's attack and a muffled sound erupted. Long Outyen and Xian Ji were both shocked and retreated at the same time. A blast of air exploded between Long Outyen and Xian Ji, causing the surrounding void to shake violently. Long Outyen and Xian Ji's eyes met. Their gazes collided in the void, creating dazzling sparks. Their eyes were filled with an incomparably strong fighting spirit. Swoosh! Xian Ji's eyes were blood red, revealing a hint of madness. His figure flashed, and in the next moment, he pierced through the void and appeared behind Long Outyen. His hand turned into a sharp black divine claw, and he clawed at Long Outyen's heart. At the same time, Saint energy rose from Xuanji's body and weaved into a large black net that enveloped Long Outyen, trapping him in place. No one had expected the fight between Long Outyen and Xian Ji to be so intense. Especially Xian Ji, who was no longer a child. He was more like a merciless little devil who wanted to pluck Long Outyen's heart out. Roar! 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 Long Outyen seemed to have sensed the danger. Suddenly, 9 dragon roars erupted around him. In an instant, 9 divine dragons soared into the sky and coiled around him. They were surrounded by chaotic light and formed a mysterious barrier. Please remember the domain name of this book. Mobile version website. Chapter 2592. Boom! The black net landed on Long Outyen. Chaotic light surged and instantly turned into a towering sword chi, slicing the black net into pieces. Xian Ji's black divine claw landed on Long Outyen's body. Sparks flew and ripples appeared on the barrier. Little brother Xian Ji, you are indeed treacherous. Long Outyen's body was surrounded by blazing divine light. In an instant, 9 divine dragons gathered on his arm, causing his aura to skyrocket. A chaotic fist seal swept across the void and came crashing down on Xian Ji. Xian Ji's expression changed slightly. He did not expect Long Outyen to react so quickly. The Nine Dragons barrier contained some kind of immortal substance, similar to his absolute defense, which could withstand powerful attacks and damage. However, in the face of Long Outyen's chaotic dragon fist, he did not put up any resistance. He gave up on any form of defense and continued to claw at Long Outyen's heart. He was actually fighting with his life on the line. Long Outyen did not believe that Xianji was someone who did not care about his life. Long Outyen's eyes flashed when he saw the layer of black light surrounding Xianji. Absolute defense? Boom! The chaotic dragon fist exploded with the power of 9 dragons and landed on Xianji's body. The black light around Xianji rose in an instant. Incomparably mysterious runes appeared and vaguely formed the shape of a black tortoise, exuding a kind of immortal fluctuation. When the chaotic dragon fist landed on Xianji's body, the black runes all lit up and burst into a dazzling light. The chaotic dragon fist rumbled. The black tortoise on Xianji's body rippled, but it could not break through Xianji's defense. Xianji's claw landed on Long Outyen's chest. Boom! Long Outyen's entire body exploded, and he instantly disappeared without a trace. Is this your absolute defense? Long Outyen's figure appeared in the distance, a trace of surprise in his eyes. Teleportation secret technique? Xianji's eyes moved and he was slightly surprised. No wonder Long Outyen dared to take his claw head-on. It turned out that it was not Long Outyen's real body. Long Outyen's real body had already teleported far away. What Long Outyen used was the legendary teleportation secret technique. You're quite knowledgeable. But do you really think you're invincible with your turtle shell? Long Outyen smiled faintly. You can try it. Xianji retorted. Even Bai Hansong and Huang Ju couldn't break through his absolute defense. Long Outyen would only have a glimmer of hope to break through his absolute defense if he could erupt with the combat strength of a great sage. He could tell that Long Outyen was indeed extraordinary from the battle, but he was only on par with Xuanji, Bai Hansong, and Huang Ju. He was far from the level of a peerless genius. Little brother Xuanji, since you won't give up, I'll break your tortoise shell and show you. Long Outyen said calmly. Boom! 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 The sound of a heartbeat rang out. Long Outyen's heart was like a resplendent sun, shining with dazzling light. In an instant, his vitality surged. An ancient and mysterious dragon's roar rang out, causing the surrounding space to tremble violently. Chaos mist rose, and Long Outyen's entire body emitted a boundless aura. His aura began to skyrocket. A peerless killing intent locked onto Xianji. This is the ancestral dragon secret technique? Feng Xian's body suddenly shook as a trace of extreme shock appeared in her eyes. Long Outyen was using the secret skills of the ancestral dragon. As he received the legacy of the Ao Sheng Dragon Lord, Long Outyen extracted the ancestral dragon bloodline from Ao Eng's body and infused it into Long Outyen's body. Finally, Long Outyen's secret skills of the ancestral dragon was cultivated to the complete realm, and he formed the ancestral dragon body. The ancestral dragon's body could unleash 128 times the power. Long Outyen's blood and qi rose. The ultimate power of the ancestral dragon's secret technique erupted, causing him to become incomparably violent and dangerous. The ancestral dragon's secret technique's violent dragon divine ability, the legendary ancestral dragon's natal divine ability. 128 times the power is enough to kill an emperor. Did the dragon race obtain the ancestral dragon's secret technique again? It wasn't just Feng Xian. Even Bai Chongshan, Xian Sha, and Huang Lan were shocked. Their expressions were incomparably complicated, and they seemed to reveal a trace of envy. Kill! Long Outyen suddenly roared. Terrifying power rose around him. His strength also began to skyrocket as the ancestral dragon bloodline surged. 2 times. 4 times. 8 times. 16 times. 32 times. 64 times. Theoretically speaking, only the ancestral dragon could unleash 128 times the power limit. Therefore, even though Ling Xiao had cultivated the ancestral dragon's secret technique to perfection, he could only unleash 64 times the power limit. 64 times the power limit was also a huge burden for Long Outyen. It caused the blood in his body to surge, and golden blood energy seeped out of his pores. He looked like a man of blood. At this moment, even Xian Ji felt uneasy. His expression was incomparably solemn as he stared at Long Outyen in the void. At this moment, he couldn't dodge because he had been completely locked on by the ancestral dragon's secret technique's killing intent. He could only take Long Outyen's attack head-on. Long Outyen, you're crazy. Xian Ji felt his scalp go numb. Long Outyen was really a lunatic. Even Long Outyen probably didn't have the power to unleash 128 times the power limit. As long as he could block Long Outyen's attack, he would definitely win. I must block it. Xian Ji was also a little crazy. Rumble. Black divine light surged around him, and the shadow of the black tortoise became more and more solid. The runes were dazzling, densely packed like stars in the 9 heavens. Kill. When Long Outyen roared a second time, his pores instantly spewed out blazing blood light. His aura also rose to the extreme, and a fist slowly blasted toward Xian Ji. The fist was surrounded by chaotic light. It looked slow, but it was also extremely fast. It was as if space and time had been frozen by the fist, and it came crashing down from the 9 heavens. Block it. Xian Ji's eyes were bloodshot as he roared. The black tortoise roared at the sky, exuding an unruly and ferocious aura. Its aura was extremely terrifying. This attack. I can't block it. Bai Hansong felt his scalp go numb, and said with an ugly expression. Me too. Huang Ju said with a wry smile. The dragon clan has obtained the ancestral dragon secret technique. It's like adding wings to a tiger. But the origin secret technique of our 4 clans. Bai Hansong said with a wry smile. Please remember the domain name of this book. Mobile version website. Chapter 2593. Boom. Long Outyen's punch landed squarely on Xian Ji's body. The black tortoise, which was formed by countless runes, roared furiously. The runes emitted an unparalleled light in an instant, as if they were bearing the brunt of the attack. Xian Ji was bleeding from his 7 orifices as he coughed up blood. His face was pale, but his eyes were bright and crazed as he tried his best to activate his absolute defense. In an instant, it seemed like they were in a stalemate. Roar. At this moment, another furious roar rang out. Long Outyen's other hand was surrounded by a black light that flowed with the light of origin. It turned into a tiny black tortoise shadow and slammed into Xian Ji's absolute defense. Crack. Xian Ji's absolute defense shattered like a broken mirror. Xian Ji was sent flying as he coughed up blood. That's the black tortoise secret art. Xian Sha's body trembled as his eyes sharpened. Even Feng Xian, Bai Chongshan, and Huang Lan couldn't remain calm. Their eyes were filled with shock. Although they were envious of Long Outyen's ancestral dragon secret art, they didn't think too much about it. However, they didn't expect Long Outyen to use the black tortoise secret art as well. Long Outyen, why do you know the black tortoise secret art? Xian Sha helped Xian Ji up and stared at Long Outyen solemnly. The black tortoise secret art was the black tortoise clan's origin secret art. Although it wasn't the black tortoise clan's imperial scripture, it was still more important than the black tortoise clan's imperial scripture. However, the 5 great sacred clans had gradually weakened since the ancient times. They were no longer the overlords of the demon world like they were in the past. One of the most important reasons was that they had lost their 5 great origin secret arts. Now that Long Outyen knew the black tortoise secret art, Xian Sha couldn't remain calm anymore. The 5 secret skills of origin have been lost since antiquity times. Only the wordless heavenly book has recorded 108 secret skills of Tiangang and Disha. Legend has it that the wordless heavenly book is in Ling Zhao's hands. It seems that the rumor is true. The secret skill of Ancestral Dragon and the secret skill of Black Tortoise were passed down to you by Ling Xiao, right? Feng Xian stared at Long Out Yen and said slowly. The wordless heavenly book is really in Ling Xiao's hands? Doesn't that mean all 5 of our sacred beast clan's secret arts are in his hands? Bai Chongshan's eyes flashed coldly. It can't be wrong. The 5 great secret techniques had been lost for a long time. Only the wordless heavenly book recorded the complete secret techniques. 1,000,000 years ago, the textless heavenly book fell into the hands of the Scarlet Dragon War God. Although we sent people to search for it, the textless heavenly book still went missing. Who would have thought that after 1,000,000 years, it would actually fall into the hands of the Chosen One? Could this be the will of the heavens? Huang Lan lamented. Everyone, the 5 great secret techniques of origin are related to the survival of our sacred beast clans. That Ling Xiao must hand over the secret techniques of origin to us. Otherwise, he will become our common enemy. Bai Chongshan's eyes flashed sharply as he said coldly. Feng Xian, Xian Sha, and Huang Lan all fell silent. They did not object. The 5 great secret techniques of origin were too important. If they obtained the 5 great secret techniques of origin, the sacred beast clans might be able to return to their ancient glory. I say, patriarchs, are you not even bothering to hide your intentions anymore? Are you trying to steal my secret techniques directly? Long Outyen laughed coldly. His gaze fell on the 4 patriarchs without the slightest hint of fear. At this moment, no one cared about the outcome of the battle between Long Outyen and Xian Ji. The 4 patriarchs had even lost the desire to test the waters. No matter what their intentions were, the dragon clan had to return the secret techniques of origin to them now. Long Outyen, can you ask Ling Xiao to come out and meet us? As long as he is willing to give us the secret techniques of origin, we are willing to exchange them with heavenly treasures, divine arts, and secret techniques. As the dragon monarch, you should know how important the secret techniques of origin are to us. He said seriously to Long Outyen. Of course I know how important the secret techniques of origin are. It is because of this that I cannot give you the secret techniques of origin for no good reason. The secret techniques of origin belong to my cousin. If he agrees, then it's fine. If he doesn't agree, then you can't force him even if you sleep with him. Long Outyen sneered coldly. He had been suppressing a bellyful of anger since a long time ago. None of the patriarchs of the 4 sacred beast clans were good people. In name, they were here to participate in his coronation ceremony, but in reality, they were here to test the dragon clan's strength. They might even be plotting something against the dragon clan. Now that they saw Long Outyen use the ancestral dragon and black tortoise secret techniques, their eyes almost popped out of their sockets. Long Outyen, as long as Ling Xiao is willing to return the black tortoise secret techniques to the black tortoise clan, we will agree to any conditions he asks for as long as we can fulfill them. Xian Sha also said seriously. That's right. Long Outyen, your cousin is the chosen one. Before he matures, he is probably the enemy of the entire world. Now, whether it is the celestial world or the devil world, he is a thorn in their side. If he returns the secret techniques of origin to us, we will have a few more allies and a few fewer enemies. Isn't that great? Huang Lan said slowly. Ling Xiao must hand over the secret techniques of origin today. Otherwise, don't blame us for being impolite. Bai Chongshan sneered coldly. Ling Xiao is not only my cousin, he is also the benefactor of the dragon clan. If he is unwilling, whoever dares to force him will be the enemy of the dragon clan. Long Outyen's eyes flashed coldly, and his voice was incomparably cold. For uncles and elders, are you trying to rob him? Being the enemy of brother Ling Xiao is the same as being the enemy of the dragon clan. Whoever dares to behave atrociously in the dragon clan, don't blame us for being impolite. Long Xiao also stood beside Long Outyen sternly and said without backing down. Ao Ryue and Ao Xingqian's expressions changed. Were the 4 great sacred clans finally going to reveal their true intentions? Just a moment ago, they were still using the excuse of sparring to test the Dragon Clan's strength by letting Bai Hansong and Xian Ji fight with Long Outyen. However, now that they saw Long Outyen use the Black Tortoise secret technique, they did not even want to test the Dragon Clan anymore. Ao Ryue and Ao Xingqian were both shocked and angry. In the ancient times, the four great sacred clans were the Dragon Clan's underlings. Who would dare to disobey them? But now that the Dragon Clan was on the decline, there was nothing they could do about it. Seeing Long Outyen and Long Xiaoxiao's determination, Feng Xian, and the others looked at each other and frowned. They felt that the situation was very troublesome. To be honest, they did not want to fall out with the Dragon Clan. The five great sacred clans were closely related, and this was an understanding that came from the depths of their bloodline. However, the secret techniques of origin were too important. Seeing that Long Outyen and Long Xiaoxiao were determined to protect Ling Xiao, they did not know what to do for a moment. Chapter 2594. If you want the secret arts of origin, that's not a problem. But have you decided what price you'll have to pay? Suddenly, an indifferent voice rang out. Ling Xiao and Gu Daoyi arrived together and landed in front of everyone in an instant. Ling Xiao's white robe fluttered in the wind. His face was as handsome as jade, his temperament was extraordinary, and his eyes were incomparably bright. The moment he appeared in front of everyone, it was as if everyone's focus was on him. Ling Xiao was the center of the world, an existence that attracted the attention of the world. His appearance seemed to make everyone pale in comparison. Gu Daoyi, on the other hand, was dressed in a Taoist robe. His face was clear, and his hair was white. His eyes were old and deep, revealing the light of wisdom, ethereal and otherworldly. Ling Xiao's gaze fell on the four patriarchs, indifferent and calm. The four patriarchs were also examining Ling Xiao at this moment. This heaven's chosen child had too many legends, and they were very curious about him. What no one noticed was that the black-robed girl beside Feng Xian couldn't help but tremble violently after seeing Ling Xiao. Her eyes were filled with excitement. "Cousin, you're finally here." Long Outyen's eyes immediately lit up when he saw Ling Xiao. The reason he used the Black Tortoise secret art just now was not only to break through Xian Ji's absolute defense, but more importantly, Ling Xiao had secretly instructed him to use the Black Tortoise secret art. Although Long Outyen didn't know why, the four sacred clans had obviously taken the bait. Great Perfection Realm, is this the heaven's chosen child's cultivation? The four patriarchs' hearts trembled. This Ling Xiao looked extraordinary, and his cultivation was also quite powerful. It was said that Ling Xiao's cultivation was only in the half-saint realm 100 years ago, and in just 100 years, he had crossed 2 major realms. This cultivation speed was indeed incomparably monstrous. The heaven's chosen child's fortune made the four patriarchs exclaim in admiration. "You're Ling Xiao." The 5 great secret arts of origin were originally left behind by our 5 sacred clans' ancestors, and they're extremely important to our 5 sacred clans. I hope you can give them to us. Our 4 sacred clans will never forget your kindness. Bai Chongshan glanced indifferently at Ling Xiao and said slowly. "I said, I can give you the great secret arts of origin, but you have to pay the price." Ling Xiao smiled indifferently. "What do you want? Heavenly materials and earthly treasures, heavenly palace holy techniques, or panacea? As long as you tell us, we will do our best to find it for you." Xian Sha hurriedly said. "I have 3 conditions. As long as you agree to them, I will teach you the origin source secret technique." Ling Xiao said indifferently. "What conditions? Tell me about it." Huang Lan said. To the 4 great saint clans, the quintessence secret arts were of utmost importance. Other than the apex monarch weapons and supreme monarch scriptures that could not be used to exchange for the quintessence secret arts, they were willing to pay any price. "First, I want 4 drops of blood from the ancestor phoenix, white tiger, black tortoise, and qilin." Ling Xiao smiled faintly. "The blood of the 4 primogenitors? How dare you? The blood of my ancestor, other than my own people, will never be given to anyone else." This is impossible. Bai Chongshan's expression changed as his eyes turned cold. Feng Xian, Xian Sha, and Huang Lan also frowned. Although the blood of the four primal ancestors was precious, and there was not much left in the four holy clans, there was still some left. However, if the blood of the four primal ancestors was given to an outsider, it would be hard for them to accept it. I only want 4 drops of blood. You should know what an origin source secret technique represents. Although 4 drops of primogenitor blood is precious, it is nothing compared to an origin source secret technique. Ling Xiao smiled faintly as if he was not worried that the 4 clan leaders would not agree. Ling Xiao, don't think that just because you are the chosen one, you have the right to negotiate with us. I have killed more than 100 saint kings, let alone a great saint. Even the dragon clan cannot protect you. Are you sure you want to be our enemy? Bai Chongshan stared coldly at Ling Xiao. What? Is clan leader Bai trying to rob us? Ling Xiao said indifferently. Long Outyen and Long Xiaoxiao's expressions changed. Bai Chongshan's words were a blatant threat, and he did not care about the dragon clan at all. However, Feng Xian, Huang Lan, and Xian Sha also fell silent as if they agreed with Bai Chongshan's words. They were very unhappy with Ling Xiao's conditions, and they did not think that Ling Xiao had the right to negotiate with them. Bai Chongshan, even that brat Bai Feng does not dare to behave atrociously in front of the dragon clan. You don't care about the dragon clan at all. Do you believe that Bai Feng will not even dare to fart after I kill you? Gu Daoi suddenly looked at Bai Chongshan and said. Bai Chongshan was furious when he heard this, but when he saw Gu Daoi's half-smile, he suddenly felt a strong sense of danger. Senior, who are you? Do you know my ancestor? Bai Chongshan suppressed the anger in his heart and asked cautiously. He realized that he could not see through Gu Daoi's cultivation at all. Bai Feng was the ancestor of the White Tiger clan, an unparalleled imperial emperor powerhouse. If he dared to call out Bai Feng's name and call Bai Feng a brat, he was either crazy or had an extremely shocking background. Bai Chongshan could not help but be careful. I am Gu Daoi. How is Bai Feng now? 90 million years ago, I once preached to that brat. I did not expect that brat to have become an imperial emperor after 90 million years. Gu Daoi's eyes revealed a trace of emotion. Gu Daoi. Gu Daoi. You are the fierce lord. Bai Chongshan was a little confused at first, but he suddenly thought of something and could not help but tremble. His eyes were filled with disbelief. The peerless ruthless person from 100 million years ago, known as the #1 prodigy of the demon realm, the person who had the most hope of becoming an imperial emperor in this era of the demon realm, the fierce lord Gu Daoi, was still alive? Bai Chongshan instantly felt his entire body drenched in sweat. His eyes were filled with incomparable reverence. Feng Yao, Xian Du, and Huang Fu, how are those 3 brats? Back then, they listened to my preaching with Bai Feng. I did not expect that they would all become imperial emperors. However, that brat Long Qing died a long time ago. Gu Daoi glanced at Feng Xian, and the others. His expression was a little sad. Long Cheng was the dragon sovereign of the dragon clan from 90 million years ago. He had once entered the sealing dragon abyss to listen to Gu Daoi's preaching. However, he died at the hands of the demon race later on. He did not survive like the other 4. Moreover, he had lived for 90 million years and became the old ancestor of the 4 sacred clans. Senior Fierce Lord, the old ancestor is doing well. If he knew that you were still alive, he would definitely be very happy. Feng Xian said with incomparable respect. However, she still could not hide the shock in her eyes. The fierce lord of ancient times was still alive. If this news spread throughout the demon realm, it would probably cause an uproar in the entire demon realm. After the battle at the 10,000 Dragon Mountain Range 3 months ago, the Dragon Clan had sealed off all information regarding the Fierce Lord. Greetings, Senior Fierce Lord. The old ancestor is doing well. Greetings, Senior Fierce Lord. Xian Sha and Huang Lan also hurriedly smiled bitterly and bowed. Their faces were filled with shock and restraint. The peerless, ruthless person in front of them had once survived the Emperor tribulation. No one doubted that he could not become a saint. Moreover, they were well aware of the relationship between the fierce lord and the dragon clan. With this person presiding over the dragon clan, let alone the four of them, even the four old ancestors would have to respectfully bow to him. Senior Gu's reputation is actually so great. Long Outyen's eyes also widened as he looked at everything in front of him with some disbelief. The four clan leaders were all heavenly venerable realm powerhouses. A moment ago, they were still aggressive as if they wanted to join forces to force the dragon clan to abdicate. However, they did not expect that a few casual words from Gu Dawi would immediately turn them into obedient children. The name of the fierce lord is known throughout the world. Ling Xiao also sighed softly as a glimmer of light appeared in his eyes. This was good too. Gu Dawi had intimidated the four clan leaders, so his next goal would be much easier to achieve. Chapter 2595. Senior Gu, I agree to Ling Xiao's first condition. As long as he is willing to teach us the complete True Phoenix secret arts, I can give him a drop of True Phoenix blood essence. Feng Xian said slowly. With Gu Dawi in charge of the dragon race, they had completely given up on probing the dragon race. I agree as well. I agree. Xian Sha and Huang Lan nodded in agreement. Even Bai Chongshan had an extremely awkward expression on his face as he nodded silently. Though they could not discern Gu Dawi's cultivation level, they could feel the pressure and danger that Gu Dawi gave them. Could it be that this ultimate elite from 100 million years ago was about to prove his Dao and become a monarch tier? Thank you for your generosity then, four patriarchs. My second condition is that I hope to visit True Phoenix Planet, Black Tortoise Planet, White Tiger Planet, and Qilin Planet. I'm very curious about the ancestral lands of the four great sacred clans, and I want to verify what I've learned there. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and raised his second condition. He didn't expect Gu Dawi's reputation to be so great that even the old ancestors of the four great sacred clans were called brats by Gu Dawi. This made it even easier for Ling Xiao to achieve his goal. No problem, we agree. The four patriarchs exchanged glances with each other as a strange look appeared in their eyes. In the end, Feng Xian smiled and agreed to Ling Xiao's condition. Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat when he saw the four patriarchs' expressions. Was there a problem with this condition? The four great sacred clans had agreed so easily. Those were the ancestral lands of the four great sacred clans, and they were letting Ling Xiao enter so easily. There was a problem. Although Ling Xiao knew that there was a problem, he didn't know what it was. He looked at the four patriarchs and raised his third condition. My third condition is that I hope that the old ancestors of the four great sacred clans can help me once in a critical moment. The four great sacred clans had four old ancestors, which meant that they were four imperial emperors. If the four imperial emperors worked together, even Ling Xiao had a chance of killing a devil imperial emperor. This was also Ling Xiao's life-saving trump card. Feng Xian, Bai Chongshan, Xian Sha, and Huang Lan frowned when they heard Ling Xiao's third condition. They didn't agree immediately. Instead, they set up barriers and mysterious runes appeared on their palms as if they were communicating with some mysterious existence. Ling Xiao guessed that the four of them were probably contacting the old ancestors of the four great clans. After all, the four of them couldn't make the decision. After a long time. Good. We have just communicated with the ancestors, and the four ancestors have agreed to help you once. When you enter the ancestral lands of the four clans, the ancestors will leave behind a trace of imprint to help you at a critical moment. Feng Xian, said slowly while looking at Ling Xiao. Her expression was a little complicated. Ling Xiao's condition was actually the easiest out of the three conditions. Ling Xiao had returned the origin secret technique to them, so he had become a great benefactor of the four sacred clans. It wasn't a big deal for the four ancestors to take action for him. However, Ling Xiao was the chosen one of this era. His path was destined to be full of dangers and challenges in the future. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that he was the enemy of the entire world. At the very least, many people in the two strongest realms, the Devil Realm and the God Realm, hated Ling Xiao to the bone. If the ancestors of the four great sacred clans took action for Ling Xiao, then they would form a karmic relationship with Ling Xiao. They didn't know what kind of impact this would have on the four great sacred clans. However, they had to take a gamble for the origin secret technique. The four patriarchs discussed for a while and finally handed 4 crystal bottles to Ling Xiao. Each crystal bottle contained a drop of blood that exuded a chaotic color. They looked crystal clear and showed the image of a phoenix, a white tiger, a black tortoise, and a qilin. They contained a mysterious energy fluctuation. Ling Xiao, these are 4 drops of the blood essence of the 4 ancestors. Keep them well. Can you pass the origin secret technique to us now? Feng Xian passed the 4 crystal bottles to Ling Xiao and said with a trace of anticipation in her eyes. Blood essence of the ancestors? Ling Xiao's heart moved as a trace of excitement appeared in his eyes. Of the 5 great origin secret techniques, only the ancestral dragon secret technique had been cultivated to perfection by Ling Xiao. As for the other 4 great origin secret techniques, he had only cultivated them to small success. The main reason was that he didn't have the bloodline of the other 4 great sacred clans. Now that he had obtained the blood essence of the 4 great sacred clans' ancestors, Ling Xiao believed that it wouldn't be long before he could cultivate the other 4 great origin secret techniques to perfection. Moreover, Ling Xiao had a vague feeling that the 5 great origin secret techniques were extremely important to his primordial immortal body and his future path. These are 4 inheritance crystals. They contain the complete 4 great origin secret techniques. Ling Xiao didn't hesitate. Although the 4 great sacred clans had only fulfilled the first condition, he knew that they wouldn't dare to go back on their word with Gu Daoyi around. Therefore, he directly gave the 4 inheritance crystals to the 4 patriarchs. The true phoenix secret technique. This is the true phoenix secret technique. Feng Xian received the inheritance crystals as if they were priceless treasures. She probed the inheritance crystals with a trace of consciousness and instantly trembled with excitement. The other 3 patriarchs were also extremely excited. Their eyes were filled with deep gratitude as they looked at Ling Xiao. Even the most hot-tempered and arrogant Bai Chongshan's gaze had softened a lot. The 5 great origin secret techniques were extremely important to the 5 great sacred clans. In fact, they were even more important than the clan guarding emperor scriptures. One had to know that although Ling Xiao had inherited the dragon bloodline from Long Han Yan, his dragon bloodline wasn't strong at the time. However, he had relied on the ancestral dragon secret technique to forcefully form the ancestral dragon body. This was the significance of the 5 great origin secret techniques. Even if the members of the 5 great sacred clans didn't have enough bloodline, they could return to their origins and continuously strengthen their bloodline if they cultivated the origin secret techniques. In fact, they could even reach atavism in the end and possess the potential to rival the 5 great sacred clans' ancestors. Once the genius experts of the 5 great sacred clans cultivated the origin secret techniques, their bloodline shackles would no longer be a problem. Anyone could grow to a sufficiently powerful level. This was the root of the 5 great sacred clans' strength. Therefore, even though Ling Xiao had raised 3 conditions, the 4 patriarchs were still grateful to him. The 5 great sacred clans have been silent for far too long. During the most glorious period of the ancient times, the 5 great sacred clans were the overlords of the heavens. Under the leadership of the dragon race, they swept through the 10,000 realms. How glorious was that? I hope that you can continue to accumulate strength to face the next great calamity of the era. Gu Daoyi said indifferently as he stood with his hands behind his back and looked into the distance. Thank you for your teachings, Senior. The 4 patriarchs respectfully bowed and said. Please remember the domain name of this book. Mobile reading website. Chapter 2596. They understood what Gu Daoyi meant. Gu Daoyi had most likely decided to stand up for the dragon race. Although the 5 great sacred clans were united, there were still differences in strength. The dragon race was strong and ruled over the 4 great sacred clans, but now that the dragon race was weak, it was inevitable that the 4 great sacred clans would have some thoughts. Otherwise, the 4 patriarchs wouldn't have used the dragon monarch inauguration ceremony to test the dragon race's foundation. Don't worry. Although I'm on the dragon race's side, I won't do anything for the dragon race. The dragon race's strength can only depend on the dragon race. I'm not forcing you to submit to the dragon race. You came to the dragon race this time because you want to open the Chaos Secret Realm, right? Why don't we make an agreement and let the 5 of them enter the Chaos Secret Realm? Once they leave the Chaos Secret Realm, the one who can convince the other 4 to submit will be the master of the 5 great sacred clans. What do you think? Gu Daoyi smiled faintly. His eyes were incomparably wise, as if he could see through the 4 patriarchs' thoughts with a single glance. Senior Gu, we do want to open the Chaos Secret Realm. But I'm afraid we can't make the decision for this agreement you mentioned. Feng Xian thought for a moment and said with a bitter smile. That's right. Senior Gu, this is too important, I'm afraid we need to ask the old ancestor. Huang Lan also smiled bitterly. They were relieved that Gu Daoyi didn't directly support the dragon race to become the master of the 5 great sacred clans, but after hearing Gu Daoyi's suggestion, they hesitated. Don't worry. Bai Feng, Feng Yao, Xuandu, and Huang Fu will definitely agree. The great calamity of an era is coming, and the 5 great sacred clans can no longer afford internal friction. We must unite as one, understand? Gu Daoyi smiled faintly. His eyes were full of meaning as he looked at Feng Xian, and the others. Bai Hansong, Xuanji, and Huang Zhu's eyes lit up. They looked at each other, and their eyes were filled with strong fighting spirit. It had to be said that placing the leadership of the 5 sacred clans in the hands of 5 juniors was a little too big of a gamble, but it was also very exciting. They were all heaven's prides and monstrous geniuses, and were almost destined to be the next patriarch of the sacred clans. None of them were willing to submit to anyone else. If someone could subdue them and become the leader of the 5 sacred clans, they would be wholeheartedly convinced. If it's a fair fight, we won't be afraid of Long Outyin. As long as he doesn't cheat and doesn't use his extreme Dao monarch weapon, Bai Hansong will definitely win. Bai Hansong said coldly. Even now, he still held a grudge against Long Outyin for bringing out the Dragon Abyss sword. Xiao Bai, have you forgotten about our bet? Still not calling him boss? Don't be unconvinced. Even if I don't use an extreme Dao Emperor armament, I can still beat you up so badly that your father won't recognize you. Do you believe me? Long Outyin laughed proudly. Bai Chongshan's face instantly darkened, and a hostile look appeared in his eyes. This Long Outyin is really arrogant. He can pretend that he didn't hear me when I scolded the young one. Now, he's even scolding the old one. That's cheating. I'm not convinced. Bai Hansong turned his head and said proudly. Senior Gu, what is the Chaos Mystery Land? Ling Xiao's eyes lit up as he looked at Gu Daoyi and asked. Ling Xiao, you came out from the Ancestral Dragon Cave. You should know where the Ancestral Dragon Cave is, right? Gu Daoyi didn't answer Ling Xiao directly. Instead, he smiled faintly. The Ancestral Dragon Cave leads directly to the Ancestral Dragon Star. It is said that the Ancestral Dragon Star is the birthplace of the Archean Dragon. I can vaguely sense that the Ancestral Dragon Star isn't in the monster realm. It seems to be in a piece of chaos. Ling Xiao said slowly. That's right. The Ancestral Dragon Star isn't in the monster realm. It's in the Chaos Sea. Not only the Ancestral Dragon Star, but the other 4 ancestral stars are also in the Chaos Sea. The Chaos Sea is a land of nothingness. It's also the birthplace of the universe. The Chaos Mystery Land is also in the Chaos Sea. Although the Ancestral Dragon Star, the Real Phoenix Star, the White Tiger Star, the Black Tortoise Star and the Qilin Star are 5 planets, they are actually the nodes of a super formation. The Chaos Mystery Land is hidden in it. The Chaos Mystery Land is actually a small world. It was sealed by the 5 primogenitors in the ancient times. Legend has it that it's a fragment of the Chaos Land and it contains many opportunities. In the past, the disciples of the 5 sacred clans would enter the Chaos Mystery Land to train. However, ever since the 5 origin secret skills were lost, it became extremely difficult to open the Chaos Mystery Land and one would have to pay a high price. Hence, the Chaos Mystery Land hasn't been opened all these years. The last time it was opened was 100 million years ago. Gu Daoyi said slowly and introduced the Chaos Mystery Land to Ling Xiao. Senior Gu is right. The Chaos Mystery Land is extremely important to the 5 sacred clans. However, the 5 origin secret skills are the key to opening the Chaos Mystery Land. After the 5 origin secret skills were lost, one would have to pay a high price to open the Chaos Mystery Land. This time, we are also under the orders of the 4 old ancestors to discuss opening the Chaos Mystery Land with the Dragon Clan in order to deal with the upcoming great calamity of the new era. Feng Xian added. Not only does the Chaos Mystery Land have great opportunities, it also has great dangers. After all, it's a fragment of the Chaos Land. There are ancient gods, demons, and powerful ferocious beasts in it. No one has entered it for 100 million years. No one knows what's going on inside the Chaos Mystery Land now. Huang Lan sighed emotionally as he spoke. Ling Xiao, Long Outyen, Long Xiao, Bai Han Song, and the others learned about the Chaos Mystery Land from Gu Daoyi and the 4 clan leaders. The Chaos Mystery Land was the biggest secret of the 5 sacred clans. Even Long Xiao didn't know about it. Perhaps Long Xian knew but didn't have the time to tell him. All in all, the Chaos Mystery Land was a place of opportunity for the 5 sacred clans. However, it also contained indescribable dangers. How many entrances are there to the Chaos Mystery Land? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he asked a crucial question. Logically speaking, the Chaos Mystery Land can only be entered by passing through the 5 ancestral stars. However, the Chaos Mystery Land is extremely vast. It's a fragment of the Chaos Land. We don't know if there are other entrances. Feng Xian said. If that's the case, if the Chaos Mystery Land opens, perhaps other people will be able to enter, right? Ling Xiao said slowly. It's possible. However, the Chaos Mystery Land is suppressed by the laws. Only those below the Saint King realm can enter. Once you become a Saint King and condense a Saint Tree, it's equivalent to walking your own path. You'll be suppressed by the laws of the Chaos Mystery Land. Xian Sha said. If that's the case, then there's nothing to be afraid of. My cousin can even kill a Saint King. If he follows us into the Chaos Mystery Land, he'll be invincible. Long Outyen said confidently. Don't be so careless. Although Saint Kings couldn't enter, no one knew what kind of powerhouses were in the Chaos Mystery Land. 100 million years ago, there were heavenly venerables in the Chaos Mystery Land. No one knew what the current situation was. Who knows, maybe an emperor has already been born. Gu Daoyi warned with a serious gaze. Chapter 2597. A monarch? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed sharply. If there really was a monarch in the Chaos Secret Realm, it was definitely not good news for them. With Ling Xiao's current cultivation, he was no match for a monarch even if he had an extreme monarch weapon in hand. It would be difficult for him to even escape with his life. A monarch was already on a whole other level. Gu Daoyi's words calmed the excited Long Outyen, Bai Han Song, Xian Ji, and Huang Ju slightly. They also became much more cautious. Suddenly, Ling Xiao's gaze fell on the black-robed girl beside Feng Xian. A trace of doubt appeared in his eyes. The black-robed girl in front of him looked elegant and refined. Her temperament was extraordinary. Her face was covered by a thin veil and her eyes were incomparably cold. Ling Xiao did not notice this black-robed girl before, but now he felt a sense of familiarity. How should I address you? Have we met before? Ling Xiao asked curiously. The black-robed girl's body trembled slightly. Her long eyelashes fluttered and her gaze was somewhat complicated. However, an incomparably dazzling smile immediately bloomed on her face. Ling Xiao, long time no see. The black-robed girl gently took off her veil and smiled gently at Ling Xiao. Her smile was light and very beautiful. You're the Phoenix girl. Ling Xiao's body trembled. A trace of incomparable surprise appeared in his eyes. The black-robed girl in front of him was different from the Phoenix girl in Ling Xiao's memory, be it her aura or appearance. It was as if she had undergone some kind of transformation. However, her smile was exactly the same as the Phoenix girl's. It instantly evoked Ling Xiao's long-sealed memories. It's me. We haven't met for 100 years, but you're still the same as before. So domineering. The Phoenix girl covered her mouth and laughed softly. Her smile was like a blooming flower that made heaven and earth pale in comparison. Bai Hansong, Huang Ju, and Xian Ji were stunned. They had never seen the Phoenix girl smile before. The Phoenix girl had always looked cold and inviolable. She was as holy as an ice mountain. When had she ever revealed such a smile? It was as if they were meeting the Phoenix girl for the first time. I returned to the God of War's realm before, but I found out that you and the Moon God had disappeared. I didn't expect you to come to the Phoenix clan and have such an opportunity and fortune. I'm really happy for you. Ling Xiao said sincerely. You went to look for me. So you were very worried about me? Phoenix girl's eyes lit up as she looked at Ling Xiao with anticipation. Yes, of course I'm worried about you. Ling Xiao's heart trembled, but he still spoke calmly. The Wind Maiden smiled. Her eyes seemed to be shining with incomparable satisfaction. Ling Xiao sighed in his heart. After so many years, the Phoenix Maiden still hadn't changed at all. At this moment, everyone could see the strange relationship between Ling Xiao and Phoenix Woman. Sister Phoenix Girl, do you still remember me? Long Outyen rolled his eyes and walked in front of the Phoenix Maiden as he spoke. Of course I remember you. Who would have thought that the mischievous brat from back then would actually grow up and even become the dragon monarch of the dragon clan? Phoenix Woman said with a smile. Her eyes were filled with emotion. Sister Phoenix Girl is the best, much better than those three bastards. Long Outyen said with a smile. Then, he looked at Bai Hansong, Huang Ju, and Xuanji provocatively. Bai Hansong and the other two were a little speechless. This Long Outyen's tale was about to reach the sky. His 3 sentences were all about them. All right, everyone, let's go. Sister Phoenix Girl and my cousin are old friends. When old friends meet, they will definitely have endless things to talk about. Don't be a hindrance here. Long Outyen glared at Bai Hansong and the other two and said with a smile. The 4 clan leaders shook their heads. Even Feng Xian let out a bitter laugh at this moment. She shot Ling Xiao an unfriendly glance, but she didn't say anything as she turned around and left. They had obtained the Origin Source secret technique and couldn't wait to go back and cultivate it. It's good to be young. Gu Daoi also smiled in a carefree manner, and then turned to leave. The people of the Dragon Clan were naturally chased away by Long Outyen. Even Long Xiao wanted to say something, but she was forcefully pulled away by Long Outyen. This little girl was too insensible. Seeing Long Outyen being so brazen, the Phoenix Maiden's face couldn't help but blush. She looked very beautiful. Cough cough, Phoenix Maiden, tell me how you came to the demon realm. Ling Xiao coughed softly. Yes. The Moon Goddess and I went to explore the Cosmic River a few days ago and accidentally found a secret realm in the Cosmic River. We accidentally fell into a tributary of the Cosmic River. When I woke up, I was already in the demon realm. The Phoenix Maiden slowly recounted her experience in the demon realm. It turned out that she was the same as Zhao Ritian. She had left the God of War realm through the Cosmic River and somehow came to the demon realm. The Phoenix Maiden had the Dark Phoenix bloodline, which was a mutated bloodline of the Phoenix clan. Feng Xian happened to see her and brought her back to the Phoenix clan. She was taken in as a direct disciple and taught with great care. The Phoenix Maiden didn't let Feng Xian down. In just 100 years, she broke through from the early stage of the divine spirit realm and became a saint. She was hailed as the #1 prodigy of the Phoenix clan in 1,000,000 years. The current Phoenix Maiden defeated many geniuses of the Phoenix clan and became the Phoenix Maiden. She was already vaguely seen as the next clan leader of the Phoenix clan. Phoenix Maiden, I'm relieved to see you like this. Ling Xiao said with a smile. Ling Xiao, actually, you taught me the true Phoenix secret technique, but I didn't tell anyone, not even my master. Even if the true Phoenix secret technique is important to the Phoenix clan, you taught it to me. I won't tell anyone without your permission. The Phoenix Maiden suddenly raised her head and said seriously to Ling Xiao. I know. Ling Xiao let out a bitter laugh. From the moment he recognized the Phoenix girl, he knew that this silly girl was hiding the true Phoenix secret technique from the Phoenix clan. Even Feng Xian didn't know how important the true Phoenix secret technique was. Ling Xiao, I thought that 100 years would be enough for me to catch up to you, but I didn't expect the gap between us to be so big. You're already a great saint now, but I won't give up. I'll catch up to you one day. The Phoenix Maiden said with a smile, but there was a trace of determination in her eyes. I believe you. You're now the young clan leader of the Phoenix clan. Maybe you'll have broken through to the great saint realm by the time you come out of the chaos secret realm. Ling Xiao said with a smile. Yes, I won't be a burden to you. Ling Xiao, I want to help you. No matter what happens in the future, even if you become the enemy of the entire world, I want to help you. The Phoenix Maiden said seriously. Then, her face turned red, and she waved at Ling Xiao, turned around, and ran away. This silly girl. Ling Xiao said with a bitter smile, a trace of guilt surging in his heart. He had let her down in the end. Under the sunlight, the Phoenix Maiden's shadow was very long, and it looked very distressing. After a long time, Ling Xiao turned around and left. Chapter 2598. The battle within the 10,000 Dragons Sacred Mountain didn't attract the attention of others because of the concealment of the Grand Array. After all, the 5 sacred clans were united on the surface. If others were to see the battle between the 5 sacred clans, it would be a joke. After the 4 clan leaders obtained the origin source secret technique, they couldn't wait to go into seclusion. The 10,000 Dragons Sacred Mountain became more and more lively. Everyone knew that the new dragon monarch of the dragon clan was called Long Outyen. It was said that he was the successor of Ao Sheng dragon monarch. They were all very curious about this dragon monarch. In the 10,000 Dragons Sacred Mountain, the security of the dragon clan was incomparably strict. Every member of the dragon clan had an excited smile on their faces. The experts that Ling Xiao subdued in the sealing dragon abyss were also put to use. They became the law enforcement team of the dragon clan, patrolling the 10,000 Dragons Sacred Mountain to prevent those who came to participate in the ceremony from causing trouble. 20 Saint Kings were still very intimidating. In the entire demon world, other than the few top forces that could bring out so many Saint Kings, the other forces were incomparably shocked and respectful. It was said that the Dragon Clan was weak now, but now it seemed that the Dragon Clan's foundation was indeed incomparably strong. Even if they were no longer as glorious as they were in ancient times, they still couldn't be underestimated. Especially the other 4 sacred clans. The 4 clan leaders personally came, and there was a faint feeling that they were escorting the Dragon Clan, which made the crowd faintly fanciful. After all, it was said that the 4 sacred clans and the Dragon Clan didn't get along well, and there was a lot of friction between them. But now it seemed that this wasn't the case. If the 5 sacred clans were to unite as one, the power that erupted would probably shake the entire demon world. Amidst this speculation, the Dragon Monarch's coronation ceremony began. The central square of the Dragon Clan was vast and boundless. It was paved with precious origin source crystals, and it was shrouded in clouds, looking ethereal and mysterious. There were 108 stone pillars with coiling dragons engraved on them. They looked lifelike and full of spirituality, as if they would come to life at any time. On top of each of the stone pillars, there was a saint king guarding them. Further up was a white jade staircase, like a path to the heavens, leading directly to the 10,000 dragons' heavenly palace in the 9 heavens. 36 great sages stood on either side of the white jade steps. Each of them looked dignified, their faces solemn as they stood on either side of the steps, exuding vast draconic might. Above the 10,000 dragons' celestial palace, there was an ancient altar that emitted 9-colored light. 20 saint kings guarded the altar. Seeing such a scene, everyone who came to watch the ceremony felt a huge pressure. The enthronement ceremony of the dragon god was not complicated. The main point was that the dragon god would appear and step on the path to heaven from the central square. Finally, he would ascend the 9 dragons' altar and announce to the world that he would worship the ancestors of the dragon race. Finally, the ceremony would be completed and he would become the true supreme of the dragon race. Everyone was no stranger to the enthronement ceremony, but they all understood that this was an opportunity for the dragon tribe to display their power. At the same time, it was also an opportunity for everyone to investigate the dragon tribe. When the sun rose, the first ray of golden light pierced through the sky and sprinkled on the central square. The golden sunlight dyed everything in pure gold. Roar! Endless clouds rolled in the sky above the 10,000 dragons' sacred mountain. In the end, it formed a giant dragon that gave off a chaotic luster. Vast draconic might exploded as the dragon's roar resounded through the sky. A figure flew down from the chaos dragon and appeared in the central square in an instant. It was a young man in golden armor. He looked like a god and was extraordinarily handsome. The cape behind him fluttered loudly in the wind. As he walked, he revealed a dignified and domineering aura. He wore a flat crown on his head and cloud-treading boots on his feet. Every step he took, a golden divine dragon would surge out from under his feet and coil around him, expressing its submission. As soon as he appeared in the central square, it was as if he had become the center of the entire world. Everyone's gaze was focused on him. Dragon god Long Outyen, step on the path to heaven and worship the dragon ancestors. Ao Ryu and Ao Xingchen came over together, one on the left and one on the right, protecting Long Outyen. They bowed to Long Outyen and shouted at the same time, then led Long Outyen up the white jade stairs. This is Long Outyen, the new dragon god of the dragon clan. Looks like he's not bad. He has an imposing appearance and is extraordinarily handsome. But it's a pity that his cultivation is only at the saint realm. Can such cultivation suppress the entire dragon clan? Who knows? But don't you see that everyone in the dragon clan is so fanatical? Especially those Saint King elders who are bowing to him. Looks like his prestige in the dragon clan is not low. I heard that the reason why Long Outyen could ascend to the position of dragon god is because of his cousin, the legendary Heaven's Chosen Son. Heaven's Chosen Son. Legend has it that he possesses the heavenly Tao's fortune and is known as the master of the next era. The Heaven's Chosen Son is indeed very lucky. The immortal realm and demon realm set up a killing trap at the same time, but they were unable to kill him. They even allowed him to come to the demon realm. I wonder where the Heaven's Chosen Son is. Compared to the dragon god of the dragon clan, I want to see how the Heaven's Chosen Son is more. Everyone was discussing animatedly with different expressions in their eyes. Although Long Outyen had proven his Tao and become a saint, his strength was still a little lacking as the dragon god of the dragon clan. When the clan leaders of the 5 great saint clans succeeded their positions, their cultivation was already at the Saint King realm. Long Outyen's appearance made many people suspicious. At the same time, they were also curious about the Heaven's Chosen Son behind Long Outyen. At this moment, Ling Xiao, Long Xiaoxiao, Phoenix Maiden, Bai Hansong, Xuanji, and Huang Ju were standing in the heavenly palace of 10,000 dragons to observe the ceremony. They watched as Long Outyen walked up the white jade steps and stepped onto the 9 dragons' altar. He announced to the heavens and earth that he was paying respects to the ancestors of the dragon clan. Roar! 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 A series of dragon roars resounded between heaven and earth. All the dragon clan in the 10,000 Dragons Sacred Mountain let out an earth-shattering roar at the same time, shaking the void in all directions. The chaos giant dragon in the void rolled violently. In the end, it emitted a dazzling divine radiance. It was as if a light pillar had descended from the heavens and landed on Long Outyen's body. The dragon pillar seemed to contain vast and pure energy. It caused Long Outyen's aura to skyrocket rapidly. Early Saint Realm. Middle Saint Realm. Late Saint Realm. Great Saint Realm. Under everyone's gaze, Long Outyen's cultivation rose from the early Saint Realm to the Great Saint Realm. Is this the blessing of the ancestral dragon? It's really powerful. Ling Zhao's eyes shone brightly as he exclaimed. The dragon god enthronement ceremony was not only to announce to the world that Long Outyen had become the sovereign of the dragon clan. More importantly, after the dragon god enthronement ceremony, he would receive the blessing of the ancestral dragon. It was the essence of the dragon clan's fate that had been gathered for 1,000,000 years. It was enough to make a saint king. Chapter 2599. Long Outyen's cultivation had risen to the great circle of the sage realm. Most of his energy was suppressed in his body and he did not break through immediately. The ancestral dragon's blessing had saved Long Outyen 1,000 years of hard work. Not only Ling Zhao, but even Bai Hansong, Xuanji, and Huang Ju had looks of envy in their eyes. Among the 5 great clans, the clan leader would receive the blessing of the ancestral dragon when he ascended the throne. Unfortunately, the clan leaders of the other 4 great clans were still alive. It was impossible for them to inherit the clan leader's position during this period of time. Naturally, they would not receive the blessing of the ancestral dragon. How long had it been since Long Outyen broke through? Who would have thought that he would rise to the great circle of the sage realm in the blink of an eye? Bai Hansong, Huang Ju, and Xian Ji looked at each other and felt a sense of danger. They had to work hard. After the Dragon God Ascension ceremony, they would be able to cultivate the Origin Source Secret Technique. At that time, with the help of the Origin Source Secret Technique, their cultivation would soar once again. After all, the upcoming trip to the Chaos Secret Realm would not only determine how much fortune and opportunity they would obtain, but it would also determine who the 5 great clans would be in charge of. At the thought of this, the leaders of the 5 great sacred clans felt a strong fighting spirit surge in their hearts. Their gazes also became sharper. Rumble. However, at this moment, there was an intense battle coming from afar. How dare you! How dare you cause trouble in my dragon clan? Battle dragon guards, quickly go and investigate what exactly happened. A sharp glint flashed in Ao Ryu's eyes as he roared. Yes, Elder. 2 great saints of the dragon clan clad in black armor answered and bowed to Ao Ryu. Cold killing intent flashed in their eyes as they turned around and flew towards the place where the battle was taking place. The battle dragon guards were the most elite guards of the dragon clan. Even the weakest of them was a sage to be expert. They were the elite force that protected the dragon clan and the dragon god. These 2 great sages of the dragon clan were the commanders of the battle dragon guards. They had been through hundreds of battles and had fought against the demon clan for many years. They were experts who had fought their way out of mountains of corpses and seas of blood. Their killing intent made everyone's face turn pale. At the same time, everyone was curious. Who was it that dared to cause trouble in the 10,000 Dragons Sacred Mountain? In the heavenly palace of the 10,000 dragons, Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. Suddenly, he sensed 2 familiar auras from the battle in the distance. He immediately leapt up and flew towards the battle. Rumble. At the periphery of the 10,000 Dragons Sacred Mountain, a barren mountain peak exploded. Blazing divine light crisscrossed as sword chi swept across the void, causing the world to tremble violently. The void was torn apart, and the black cracks in the void seemed to be able to destroy everything. There was a woman in white who looked incredibly charming and had a voluptuous figure. However, at this moment, her face was as cold as ice and her eyes were filled with flames of fury. She held an ancient sword and her sword chi swept out for 30,000 li, enveloping a delicate-looking young man and a middle-aged Taoist. Her every move was filled with killing intent. The handsome young man and the middle-aged Taoist both seemed to be in a difficult situation. Although the two of them had joined hands to fight the enemy, they were still at a disadvantage and were in a perilous situation. Young Masterin, I have no intention of becoming enemies with the heaven-devouring mountain. Hand over that lecher. I want to tear him into pieces. The white-clothed woman said coldly to the handsome youth. Her eyes were filled with cold killing intent as she looked at the middle-aged Taoist. Crazy bitch, you actually dare to behave atrociously in the 10,000 Dragons Sacred Mountain? Aren't you afraid that the dragon race will kill you? The delicate-looking youth remained unmoved and shouted at the white-clothed woman. Dragon race? The dragon clan is only strong on the outside but weak on the inside. My Qing Qiu clan is the true king of the Eastern Wood region. Don't think that the Dragon Clan can protect you just because you're here to participate in the Dragon Monarch Ascension ceremony. The woman in white said coldly. Miss, why do you insist on forcing me? I've already explained that I didn't do it on purpose. Furthermore, if it weren't for me, you wouldn't be in such a good state right now. The middle-aged Taoist laughed bitterly. Bastard, you still have the guts to say that? If you hadn't barged into my seclusion grounds, if it hadn't been for you, how could I have possibly gone mad? You even saw my body. I'm going to kill you today. It would have been better if the middle-aged Taoist hadn't said anything. The moment he spoke, the white-clothed woman was about to explode with anger. Her eyes were filled with cold killing intent as she glared at the middle-aged Taoist. Rumble. Sword chi swept across the surroundings with the force of wind and thunder. It was as if the sword chi was condensed from lightning from the 9 heavens. The delicate-looking youth and the middle-aged Taoist's expressions changed as the sword chi fell. They hurriedly retreated. This crazy bitch. If it weren't for the fact that I can't defeat her, I would definitely teach her a lesson. The middle-aged Taoist cursed inwardly. Isn't this all your fault? If you hadn't seen my body and touched it, would this crazy bitch have chased us for 15 million kilometers? The delicate-looking youth rolled his eyes. Rumble. The terrifying sword chi fell and sent the middle-aged Taoist and the delicate-looking youth flying. The sword chi that filled the sky gathered together and instantly split into billions of sword chi behind the white-clothed woman. Each sword chi contained a terrifying sharpness that seemed to be able to destroy everything. Young Masterin, since you're determined to protect this bastard, don't blame me for being ruthless. The white-clothed woman said coldly. She swung her sword in the air and in an instant, billions of sword chi swept across. It was as if they had formed a sword domain that enveloped the middle-aged Taoist and the delicate-looking youth. Oh no! This crazy bitch is going all out. The delicate-looking youth's expression changed. This attack had completely sealed off his and the middle-aged Taoist's path of retreat. They could only take the attack head-on. However, the white-clothed woman was a sage ruler. Her strength was unparalleled. Even if they could withstand this attack, they would probably be severely injured. Whoosh! At this moment, a figure seemed to have pierced through the void and directly blocked the middle-aged Taoist and the delicate-looking youth. Facing the sword chi that was coming at him from all directions, he threw out a simple punch. Crack! The blazing fist print was unparalleled and exuded a vast amount of purple chi. It was majestic and mysterious. In an instant, it was as if an ancient world had risen and enveloped the three figures. The unparalleled fist print instantly swept away the sword chi that filled the sky. Furthermore, it did not lose its momentum and directly blasted towards the white-clothed woman. Who are you? The white-clothed woman's expression changed. She felt the terror of this punch and hurriedly blocked it with her sword. In an instant, her sword collided with the purple fist print and exploded with the sound of metal clashing. The white-clothed woman only felt an unparalleled divine power coming from the ancient sword in her hand. It caused the blood in her body to surge and she could not help but retreat. Ling. Ling Xiao. The delicate-looking youth and the middle-aged Taoist looked at the figure in front of them and suddenly trembled. Their eyes were filled with excitement and disbelief. And then, Taoist Wuliang, long time no see. The divine light that filled the sky sprinkled down like a rain of light. Ling Xiao turned his head and the corners of his mouth curled up. A brilliant smile bloomed on his face. End of chapter. Chapter 2600. Ling Xiao's gaze fell on the old goat and Taoist Wuliang, full of emotions. Although it was only a short 100 years, it felt like a long time to Ling Xiao. The old goat was like a younger brother and a friend to Ling Xiao. Taoist Wuliang was also like a teacher and a friend. The two of them could be said to be the closest people to Ling Xiao other than his parents and Jin Se. They all had a common name, which was brothers. Ling Xiao, you're really in the dragon clan. But you're too mean. You've been in the demon realm for so long and you didn't even look for me. The old goat said with some excitement and some resentment. Ling Xiao, fortunately you're not dead. Otherwise, I would have to be the enemy of the entire demon realm and divine realm. I'm afraid I can't handle it. I'm afraid that only by becoming an emperor can I avenge you. Taoist Wuliang also teased with a trace of excitement in his eyes. The three of them looked at each other and smiled. There seemed to be light surging in their eyes. Everything was understood without words. How dare you? Who are you? How dare you commit murder in my dragon clan? At this moment, the two battle dragon guard commanders also rushed over. Their eyes were extremely cold as they stared at the woman in white in the void and scolded. So what if I'm from the dragon clan? Today, you must hand this bastard over to me. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. The woman in white said with a frosty face and did not back down. At the same time, she looked at Ling Xiao with a dignified gaze. She could see that Ling Xiao's cultivation was in the great sage perfection realm. However, the punch just now was fierce and overbearing. It contained a peerless physical strength. Even she could not withstand it and was sent flying by Ling Xiao's punch. Ling Xiao gave her a faint sense of crisis. He was not simple. Who are you? These two are my friends. How did they offend you? If it's really their fault, I'll apologize to you on their behalf. Ling Xiao cupped his hands and bowed to the woman in white. There was a trace of strange light in his eyes. Although the woman in white in front of him looked like an ordinary holy king, her strength was extremely powerful. Ling Xiao could feel that the woman in white had the combat power of a peak holy king. Otherwise, the old goat and Taoist Wuliang would not be in such a sorry state. However, when Ling Xiao saw the expressions of the woman in white, the old goat, and Taoist Wuliang, he knew that there was a misunderstanding between them. Ling Xiao, it's all that ox-nosed old Taoist's fault. If he hadn't barged into this lady's place of seclusion and caused her to almost go berserk and see her body, the old goat hurriedly said to Ling Xiao. Shut up. Before the old goat could finish, the woman in white angrily interrupted the old goat. Her face was full of shame and anger. What the hell is going on? Ling Xiao asked. At this moment, Taoist Wuliang looked calm and composed. Although he looked calm, Ling Xiao could still see a trace of panic in his eyes. Ling Xiao, it's all the ox-nosed old Taoist's fault that this crazy bitch keeps chasing after us. The old goat looked at the woman in white with displeasure, but he didn't say it out loud. Instead, he told her what had happened. As it turned out, the old goat and Taoist Wuliang had come with Bai Zhe to congratulate the dragon clan, but Bai Zhe couldn't leave at the last minute. Instead, the old goat and Taoist Wuliang represented Mount Devourer to come to the dragon clan. When they arrived near the Qing Qiu clan in the Eastern Wood region, Taoist Wuliang discovered a large tomb and was immediately excited. He told the old goat that he hadn't seen Ling Xiao in a long time and that he couldn't come empty-handed. He wanted to rob the tomb and get something good for Ling Xiao as a meeting gift. The old goat was also persuaded by Taoist Wuliang to agree. The two of them broke through the tomb's formation, avoided countless dangers, and finally entered the tomb. It was a secret realm with a connate spirit root, the tree of divine demons. The woman in white had been sitting cross-legged under the tree to cultivate and seemed to have reached a critical juncture in her cultivation. Taoist Wuliang had inadvertently triggered the restrictions in the surroundings and wanted to take the tree away, causing the woman in white to go berserk. She even entangled herself with Taoist Wuliang as if she was in heat. The woman in white's clothes were torn to shreds by herself. Not only did Taoist Wuliang see her body, but he also touched her all over. However, he still had a bottom line and didn't take advantage of her. Instead, he helped the woman in white get rid of her inner demons. However, when the woman in white woke up and saw the scene in front of her, she was so angry that she almost fainted. She hated Taoist Wuliang so much that she wanted to tear him into pieces. In the end, the woman in white chased the old goat and Taoist Wuliang all the way to the dragon clan. Good fellow. Taoist Wuliang, if I'm not mistaken, this woman in white is not only a saint king, but also a powerhouse of the Nine-Tailed Fox clan. How dare you take advantage of the Nine-Tailed Fox clan? I think you're really daring. Ling Xiao looked at Taoist Wuliang with some admiration. The Qingqiu clan was also in the Eastern Wood region. Along with the Dragon clan living in seclusion, the Qingqiu clan had practically become the uncrowned king of the Eastern Wood region. They were incomparably powerful. Furthermore, the Qingqiu clan was the most protective. If Taoist Wuliang's actions were known by the Qingqiu clan, the entire Qingqiu clan would probably come to hunt him down. Taoist Wuliang's face turned red, and he transmitted his voice to Ling Xiao, I didn't do it on purpose. Who knew that she overestimated herself and wanted to comprehend the divine magic law? Her clothes were also torn by herself. The reason why I touched her, wasn't it to save her? This crazy woman doesn't know what's good for her. Nonsense. Not only did you see her body, you even touched her body. It would be strange if she didn't go crazy from anger. Ling Xiao rolled his eyes and said. However, he also understood the cause of the matter. Speaking of which, this was really a misunderstanding. However, it seemed that this woman in white was not so easy to get rid of. Miss, I already understand the cause and effect of the matter. It's a misunderstanding between you two. Is it possible for Miss to give me some face and spare them this time? Ling Xiao cupped his hands at the woman in white and smiled bitterly. Misunderstanding? There's no misunderstanding between us. This bastard did it on purpose. He barged into my place of seclusion and caused me to go berserk. How is this a misunderstanding? Besides, who are you? We don't know each other, so why should I give you face? Get out of my way, or don't blame me for being impolite. The woman in white said coldly. She looked like she would not stop until she killed Taoist Wuliang. Miss, what will it take for you to let him go? Ling Xiao asked. If you want me to let him go, you'll have to defeat me. The woman in white said coldly as she stared at Ling Xiao. Miss, you're from the Qingqiu clan, right? I didn't want to be your enemy, but if you insist, I'll have to ask for your guidance. Ling Xiao smiled bitterly, but he still took a step forward. His gaze was calm and determined. Chapter 2601. Since you overestimate yourself, then don't blame me for being impolite. The woman in white looked at Ling Xiao and said slowly. Miss, go ahead. I just hope that if I'm lucky enough to defeat you, I hope you can fulfill your promise. Ling Xiao smiled indifferently. Arrogant. I'd like to see how you can defeat me. The woman in white was so angry that she laughed, and there was a trace of cold sharpness in her eyes. She could see that Ling Xiao's cultivation was in the great sage perfection realm. Although his physical body was strong, she did not take him seriously. She was the genius of the Qingqiu clan and had already proven her Tao as a holy king. Moreover, her sword principle was divine. She had even killed a few holy kings. She did not expect Ling Xiao to be so arrogant. He wanted to defeat a holy king with a mere great sage realm cultivation. It was simply a fool's dream. Clang! A clear sound of a sword rang. The ancient sword in the woman's hand was unsheathed, and it let out a clang sound. The cold sword aura seemed to be able to cut through everything, making people feel cold all over. Make your move. Otherwise, you won't have a chance. The woman in white stood with her sword and said coldly while pointing at Ling Xiao. Thank you, miss. In that case, I won't be polite. Ling Xiao smiled indifferently. Boom. Ling Xiao originally looked gentle and elegant, but he seemed to have changed into another person in an instant. A strong battle intent emerged in his eyes. He instantly blasted out a punch. The fierce fist print directly exploded in the void, like a star, and blasted toward the woman in white. There seemed to be a thunderous sound in Ling Xiao's body. His blood and qi surged, turning into the shape of a blood qi divine dragon. It soared into the sky, making his entire person become extremely violent in an instant. Purple qi spread across 30,000 miles. One punch could destroy the 9 heavens. The woman in white's expression changed slightly. Ling Xiao's punch did not contain any divine abilities or treasured arts. It was purely physical strength. It was even more terrifying than the previous punch. She felt a huge pressure bearing down on her. A strong battle intent also emerged in the woman in white's heart. The ancient sword in her palm flipped, and instantly pierced through the void, stabbing toward Ling Xiao. Sword qi crisscrossed, incomparably sharp, as if it could destroy everything. This ancient sword was a top-grade holy treasure. It was the life treasure of the woman in white. She had refined it for many years and was extremely powerful. Although she felt that Ling Xiao's physical body was very strong, it was probably not as sharp as her ancient sword. Rumble. A blazing sword light burst out from the ancient sword and collided with Ling Xiao's fist in an instant. The sword qi that filled the sky was swept away, and the huge fist continued to blast towards the white-robed woman. The woman in white flashed and leaped into the air. The ancient sword in her hand slashed down towards Ling Xiao's arm. She wanted to cut off his arm. Whoosh! Ling Xiao pointed out with his other hand. The light from his finger was extremely sharp, and it collided with the ancient sword in the woman's hand in an instant. The ancient sword trembled slightly as waves of terrifying energy surged into it, as though it was about to be sent flying. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and he took advantage of the situation to punch the sword. Hum! The sword trembled violently, and the powerful sword qi actually shattered with a loud bang. The woman in white was also sent flying dozens of meters by Ling Xiao's punch. Miss, is this all the holy kings of the Qing Qiu clan are capable of? The Qing Qiu clan is only so. Ling Xiao smiled indifferently. Purple divine light surged around him, and his skin was crystal clear, exuding an eternal luster. The sword qi was shattered by him, and it hit his body with a metallic clang. It could not cause any damage to him at all. Ling Xiao, even if you are the chosen one, you cannot humiliate the Qing Qiu clan. Kill. The woman in white seemed to be infuriated by Ling Xiao's words. Her eyes were extremely cold, and the ancient sword in her hand hummed and trembled. In an instant, it seemed to come alive, blooming with incomparably brilliant light. The white-clothed woman's entire being became incomparably sharp. Sword intent rose around her, incomparably pure, and her eyes instantly turned a demonic blue. Nine-tailed heavenly technique. As the woman in white roared, a huge white fox phantom appeared behind her. It had 9 furry tails, and its entire body exuded an ancient and mysterious aura. The ancient sword in the woman's hand trembled violently. The 9 tails behind her rushed into the sky, turning into 9 blazing sword qi, and merged with the ancient sword in her hand. In the void, it was as if 10 suns had appeared. Each of them bloomed with blazing sword qi, enveloping Ling Xiao. Devour? Looks like she still went easy on us. Old Goat exclaimed. His eyes were filled with disbelief. He could feel the power of the 9-tailed heavenly technique. If the woman in white had used this attack earlier, he and Taoist Wuliang would not have been able to block it. The supreme saint technique of the Qing Qiu clan. It looks like the woman in white must have the bloodline of the 9-tailed fox. Otherwise, she would not have been able to cultivate the 9-tailed heavenly technique to perfection. Taoist Wuliang said with a bright light. What a powerful way of the sword. Ling Xiao also exclaimed. He felt a trace of threat from the woman in white's attack. The 10 suns above his head, although they were called 10 suns, were actually more like 10 dazzling sword lights. Each of them was extremely sharp, as if they could pierce through the heavens and earth. Crack! Although Ling Xiao sighed, he did not slow down at all. Purple chi rose around him, making him look dignified and solemn. Blazing lightning seemed to bloom in his palm. In an instant, a mysterious dragon rushed into the sky. Chaotic light exploded. The dragon emitted 9 rays of divine light, as if it was a creature born from chaos. With a push of Ling Xiao's palm, it met the sword chi that filled the sky. Rumble. The 10 resplendent suns all lit up and beams of sword light descended from the sky. Each beam of sword light was twice as powerful as the previous one, bursting with a power that could destroy the world. Accompanied by an earth-shattering dragon roar, a terrifying divine light storm broke out in the void, sweeping in all directions. It even drowned the figures of Ling Xiao and the woman in white. Ling Xiao leaped into the sky and used the secret teleportation technique to attack the woman in white. He had the Hong Meng immortal body. His physical body was invincible and his combat power was unparalleled. At this moment, his cultivation had broken through to the Great Sage Perfection realm, allowing him to attack more freely. Although the woman in white's way of the sword was extraordinary, it did not pose much of a threat to Ling Xiao. On the contrary, Ling Xiao's close combat was a great threat to the woman in white. Boom. 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 Every time Ling Xiao and the woman in white collided, an extremely intense power fluctuation erupted. The momentum was so great that it began to alarm more and more people. Chapter 2602. Among the Dragon Clan, those who came to participate in the Dragon King enthronement ceremony were also alarmed. Even Long Outyen, Long Xiaoxiao, and many other Dragon Clan experts rushed over. Seeing the scene in front of them, everyone was a little surprised. They did not expect Ling Xiao to be fighting with a woman in white. Is this the legendary Heaven's chosen son, Ling Xiao? He can actually fight a holy king with the cultivation of great sage perfection. It seems that his strength is indeed extraordinary. Someone exclaimed in surprise. That woman in white should be from the Green Hill clan, right? TSK. She's a national beauty with peerless elegance. As expected of the Green Hill Fox clan. The Green Hill clan and the Dragon clan have always minded their own business. Why did they come to the 10,000 Dragons Sacred Mountain? I don't know. However, the battle prowess of this chosen one isn't as strong as the legends say. Legend has it that he killed a celestial venerable. Now, he can't even take down an ordinary Saint King. Isn't that too disappointing? Everyone was puzzled as to why Ling Xiao would fight with the Green Hill clan. At the same time, they were also somewhat disapproving of Ling Xiao's combat power. Although it seemed that a great sage perfection who could fight a holy king was already considered a prodigy expert, who was Ling Xiao? He was the legendary Heaven's chosen son, the most monstrous existence in the universe. Especially when it was said that Ling Xiao killed Heavenly Venerate demonic Sunflower and destroyed the Demon Emperor's clone, everyone's expectations of Ling Xiao increased imperceptibly. Old Goat, Taoist Wu Yang. You are also in the demon realm? Why is my cousin fighting with the Qing Qiu clan? After Long Outyen saw the Old Goat and Taoist Wu Yang, his eyes suddenly showed an extremely excited look and asked curiously. Isn't it because of this old Taoist? He molested her. That woman in white relentlessly chased us all the way. The Old Goat winked at Taoist Wu Yang and said. Molested? The Green Hill clan is not so easy to deal with. Brother Wu Yang, you're amazing. Long Outyen glanced at Taoist Wu Yang and said with a face of admiration. She is. Xiao Nyang Su. I didn't expect her to have broken through to the Holy King realm. After Xiao Xiao saw the woman in white, there was a look of surprise in her eyes. You know this beautiful sister? Long Outyen asked curiously. Long Xiao rolled her eyes at him and said, "Her name is Su Xionyang, and she's the eldest princess of the Green Hill Fox clan. She's extremely talented and possesses the nine-tailed fox bloodline. 100 years ago, she was only at the Great Saint stage. I didn't expect her to have already broken through to the Saint King stage. The eldest princess of the Green Hill Fox clan? Not bad, ox-nosed old Taoist." The old goat was also a little surprised. He didn't expect the white-clothed woman to have such a high status. He smiled at Taoist Wuliang. "Go play somewhere else. I didn't know that he was the eldest princess of the Green Hill Fox clan, or else why would I dare to provoke him?" Taoist Wuliang said innocently. "Don't underestimate Lady Xiao Su. She may have just become a Saint King, but she killed a Saint King when she was a great saint. She has cultivated the Supreme Emperor art of the Green Hill Foxes, the all-direction annihilation sword Dao. She's probably even more unfathomable now." Long Xiao warned. "Sword cultivator. Sword cultivators are a bunch of lunatics. Although she's very strong, I still believe that Ling Xiao can defeat her." The old goat's expression changed slightly, but he still said seriously. Sword cultivators were the most terrifying kind of people, especially pure sword cultivators. They were said to be invincible among those of the same level. It wasn't difficult for them to go against the flow and challenge those of a higher level. After a sword cultivator cultivated to the Saint realm, their strength was incomparably strong. When they reached the Saint King realm, their sword Dao would be complete, and they would have the power to destroy the world. No wonder Lady Xiao Su could kill a Saint King when she was a great saint. However, they weren't worried that Ling Xiao would lose to Lady Xiao Su. Compared to a sword cultivator, Ling Xiao was clearly more monstrous and abnormal. Especially this time, Ling Xiao had refined Heavenly Master Demonic Sunflower's corpse, and his strength had increased greatly. They all wanted to see if Ling Xiao could force Lady Xiao Su to use her all-direction annihilation sword Dao. Boom! A blazing divine light exploded in the void, and a terrifying storm swept in all directions. Blood qi rose around Ling Xiao's body, and the dragon's roar contained a powerful spiritual fluctuation, causing his fist Dao to contain an extreme sharpness. Every punch of his was like a rainbow piercing through the sun, and also like the moon from the 9 heavens. It was vast and domineering. Unknowingly, it made people feel as if they had fallen into the fist Dao that he had created, unable to extricate themselves. Outsiders could see that the battle between Ling Xiao and Lady Xiao Su was very intense, but they couldn't tell that Lady Xiao Su was at a disadvantage and had completely fallen into Ling Xiao's fist Dao. Although Lady Xiao Su's attainments in the sword Dao were extremely strong, and every strike had the power to pierce through everything. Her sword intent was incomparably powerful and could shatter the void. However, after Ling Xiao got close to her, she couldn't take the initiative to attack. She could only passively resist Ling Xiao's fist. Ling Xiao's fist was extremely fierce, as if it contained thousands of waves and thousands of mountains. The force surged over layer by layer, causing the ancient sword in her hand, which was a supreme-grade holy treasure, to tremble violently. Every strike would send terrifying divine power into her body, causing her blood and qi to surge. Although she had the bloodline of the 9-tailed celestial fox and her body was extremely powerful, almost no weaker than a dragon expert, under Ling Xiao's terrifying power, her blood and qi were boiling, and her meridians were shaking. She suffered heavy injuries. Pfft! Finally, Lady Xiao Su couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood, and her face turned extremely pale. Bastard! Lady Xiao Su gritted her teeth in anger. Ling Xiao's entire body was like a turtle shell, incomparably sturdy. Her sword qi couldn't pierce through Ling Xiao's skin at all. Even though the ancient sword in his hand could leave scars on Ling Xiao's body, the moment it came into contact with Ling Xiao's bones, there would be the sound of metal clashing. At the same time, there would be an incomparably terrifying rebound force, causing her to suffer heavy injuries. Lady Xiao Su was shocked and angry. Could it be that Ling Xiao's bones were as sturdy as supreme-grade holy treasures? What a freak! Boom! Ling Xiao punched out, and purple divine light surged. Behind him, there seemed to be a mysterious phenomenon of the destruction of heaven and earth, the reincarnation of all living beings, and the decline of civilization. A vast momentum rushed towards her. The sword qi that filled the sky in front of her was swept away. Although Lady Xiao Su blocked with her sword, she was suddenly sent flying. Her entire body felt as if she had been struck by lightning, and her arms began to go numb. There was a sweet taste in her throat, and she spat out another mouthful of blood. "Miss, you've lost." Ling Xiao smiled faintly. His eyes were bright and pure, and his powerful battle intent slowly converged. Purple gold divine light surged around his body, making him look like an invincible celestial emperor, making people feel respect for him. Chapter 2603. Ling Xiao was also very satisfied with this battle. He didn't use any divine ability or treasure technique, but used his pure physical strength to suppress Su Xiaonyang with just a pair of fists. Ling Xiao had gained a lot from this seclusion. He had devoured heavenly venerable demonic sunflower's origin energy, and his cultivation had risen to the great saint perfection realm, but it also made Ling Xiao realize that the strength of the physical body was the foundation. Ling Xiao had come back from the dead. His physical body had fused with the wordless heavenly book and the jade plate of good fortune. These two treasures of the chaos had fused with his body, but they were not as strong as expected. It was as if they were all hidden inside his body. Ling Xiao now seemed to have a huge treasure in his body, but he didn't know how to use it. His so-called primordial immortal body was not the real primordial immortal body. Although it could be said to be invincible in the same realm, if he encountered an unstoppable expert, he could still be completely obliterated. However, he vaguely saw a glimmer of hope. By unlocking the treasures in his physical body and releasing the true power of the two chaos treasures, he might be able to condense the real primordial immortal body. Ling Xiao, it's not that easy to make me admit defeat. As long as you can take this sword of mine, I'll admit defeat. Su Xiaonyang's face was filled with an unyielding expression, and the battle intent in her eyes rose. Her eyes became brighter and brighter. Rumble. There seemed to be a black demonic light surging around her body. Primal chaos mist spread out, as if a kind of extremely powerful killing and annihilating force was being emitted, causing her entire person to become fierce and dangerous. One sword. Then let's decide the victor with one sword. Ling Xiao's eyes narrowed as he slowly said. He felt that the woman in white in front of him had become extremely dangerous. Her entire person seemed to have turned into an unsheathed divine sword, emitting a dangerous aura that could destroy everything. In Ling Xiao's eyes, the space around the woman in white seemed to have collapsed, and all 10 directions had turned into a destructive domain, nurturing a powerful sword. Su Xiaonyang's aura began to surge, and her entire person seemed to have reached an incomparably strange state. Not only was she one with the sword, but she was also one with the heavens and the human Tao. Between heaven and earth, there was only one sword. This is the all-side annihilation sword Tao. Long Xiaoxiao's body trembled, and a trace of incomparable excitement appeared in her eyes. The supreme sword Tao of the Green Hill Foxes? That crazy woman has been merciful all this time. The old goat and Taoist Wuliang looked at each other and saw the joy in each other's eyes. If Xiaonyang had gone crazy, the two of them would have been killed long ago. Everyone was shocked by the destructive sword intent that Xiaonyang's sword emitted. In particular, the saint rulers among them were all stern. Disbelief filled their eyes. Although Xiaonyang Su was only an ordinary saint king, her sword had the power to kill a supreme saint king. Embroiderer Su. The sword Tao of all-encompassing annihilation. Interesting. A glint flashed across Ling Xiao's eyes. He had also heard the discussions around him and knew the identity and background of this white-clothed lady. Su Xiaonyang was still accumulating power, and the destructive sword intent was growing stronger every second. If Ling Xiao attacked now, he might be able to interrupt Su Xiaonyang's accumulation of power and reduce the power of the Apocalypse Sword Tao. However, Ling Xiao had no intention of making a move. He was waiting for Xiaonyang Su's perfect sword. Ling Xiao vaguely felt that this was Xianyang Su's chance, and also his chance. Rumble. Sword chi swept in all directions, and dark clouds rolled in the sky. Bolts of lightning bloomed as if the world was about to be destroyed. The supreme sword intent locked onto Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's expression was very calm, as if he did not move at all. However, the space around him seemed to be distorted, and even time became chaotic. A mysterious phenomenon appeared around him. Heaven and earth were destroyed, gods and demons were roaring, and all living things were reincarnated. However, only Ling Xiao was immortal. All-encompassing annihilation. Following Xianyang Su's soft cry, a peerless sword light lit up the world. It was like the first ray of light at the beginning of the universe, and it slashed down towards Ling Xiao. With Xianyang Su and Ling Xiao as the center, the surrounding space was instantly annihilated. Endless turbulence surged, and the terrifying power seemed to be able to kill even a saint. Wherever the sword light went, space and time were all annihilated. Good. Ling Xiao's eyes lit up, and his eyes were filled with admiration. This sword was extremely powerful. The all-encompassing annihilation sword Dao was indeed worthy of being the Green Hill Fox clan's supreme emperor technique. It made him feel a strong sense of threat. He still threw out a simple punch. To everyone, Ling Xiao's punch to meet Xianyang Su's all-encompassing annihilation sword Dao was like a mortal punching a god. It looked so ordinary and powerless. However, when Ling Xiao threw out a punch, that simple punch seemed to be infinitely magnified in front of everyone's eyes. It was like the chaotic void that encompassed heaven and earth, and contained all things. Its aura instantly soared to the extreme, and it was not weaker than Xianyang Su's sword at all. This punch seemed to be able to shatter all worlds, annihilate all living things, and shatter an era of decay. At the same time, endless vitality burst forth, creating a glorious and eternal new era. The Epic Fist. Under the pressure of the all-encompassing annihilation sword Dao, Ling Xiao's spirit was blessed. For the first time, he completely unleashed the Epic Fist. This was his Dao. There was no rumbling sound. The world was silent, as if all sound had disappeared. Wherever Ling Xiao's fist arrived, time stopped, space was annihilated, and the sword energy and divine light storm instantly turned into nothingness. When everyone saw Ling Xiao's fist collide with the all-encompassing annihilation sword Dao, there was also no movement. The sword light began to slowly disappear. That's right, it was slowly being annihilated. It was like a speck of ink on a piece of white paper being wiped away. The powerful sword directly turned into nothingness under Ling Xiao's punch. Everyone widened their eyes in shock, and their mouths were agape. Their eyes were filled with unconcealable fear. Such a strange punch made their souls tremble uncontrollably. Xianyang, who was opposite Ling Xiao, also revealed an extremely shocked expression. She felt an unstoppable despair under this punch. It was as if her entire body would be completely annihilated under this punch. There was no way she would be able to escape. She closed her eyes in despair and gave up resisting. Bang! A soft sound came from the void. Xianyang Su felt a gentle breeze on her face. There was no pain, and even the fatal threat had disappeared. Xianyang Su opened her eyes and found that Ling Xiao's fist had stopped an inch in front of her. Ling Xiao's face was slightly pale, and the blood in his body surged. There was a white mist surging out, as if it was extremely strenuous. Chapter 2604. Miss Su, why didn't you dodge? I almost couldn't hold back. Ling Xiao said with a bitter smile. Xianyang's face turned red. Her mind was blank just now. She was completely shocked by the fist intent of Ling Xiao's punch. She didn't notice that Ling Xiao didn't have any killing intent. That punch was only aimed at her sword Principle of Apocalypse and didn't lock onto her. As long as she wanted to dodge, she could still dodge. Thank you for showing mercy. I've lost. Xianyang Su's eyes revealed a complicated expression. She could tell that Ling Xiao had forcefully held back his punch. He had probably suffered quite a bit of backlash. She felt a little apologetic, and even her anger had dissipated a lot. You're welcome. The sword principle of Apocalypse is indeed worthy of its reputation. Miss Su's sword probably has the power to kill a supreme sage king. Ling Xiao said with a smile. This sword might be able to seriously injure a supreme sage king, but it won't be easy to kill him. I only have the strength for one strike. Xiao Nyang said indifferently. The sword principle of Apocalypse was incomparably domineering. She had just accumulated strength for the attack and used up all the strength in her body. She no longer had the strength to fight. That was why she said that if Ling Xiao could withstand her sword, she would admit defeat. Miss Su, I apologize to you on behalf of Taoist Wuliang. He's not a bad person. Ling Xiao said sincerely to Xiaonyang. Whoosh. At this moment, Taoist Wuliang also leaped over and bowed to Su Xiaonyang. Miss Su, I could only do this in a moment of desperation. I didn't do it on purpose. Please forgive me for being presumptuous. Humph. You don't have to do this. I, Xiaonyang, am a woman of my word. Since Ling Xiao has defeated me, I won't cause trouble for you anymore. Xiaonyang glanced at Taoist Wuliang and Ling Xiao and snorted coldly. In that case, thank you for your magnanimity, Miss Su. Ling Xiao smiled and heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. Miss Su, your name is Xiaonyang. I wonder if you know someone called Su Mainyang. She should be from your Qingqiu clan. Ling Xiao suddenly thought of something and could not help but ask. Su Mainyang was an old friend of Ling Xiao's from the war god world. Back then, she had entered the demon world with King Black Tortoise through the void passageway. Since they were both from the Fox clan, Ling Xiao guessed that Su Mainyang might have also gone to the Green Hill Fox clan. Furthermore, the names of Xiaonyang and Su Mainyang were so similar that Ling Xiao couldn't help but think of something. Little junior sister. You know junior sister. Xiaonyang looked at Ling Xiao in surprise. That's right, Su Mainyang is my friend. We are both from the god of war realm of the mortal realm. So she really is in the Green Hill Fox clan. Ling Xiao said with a smile. Little junior sister is indeed from the war god realm. Now, she's been taken in as a personal disciple by my mother. Her talent is extraordinary and not inferior to mine. If you have the time, you can come to the Qingqiu clan to see her. Xiaonyang Su looked at Ling Xiao and said with a strange expression. Thank you, Miss Su. I'll visit her when I have time. Ling Xiao nodded and said. Taoist Wuliang, I will fulfill my promise and no longer pursue you. However. Xiaonyang pondered for a moment. Her gaze landed on Taoist Wuliang, and her beautiful face suddenly turned red. However what? Taoist Wuliang felt that something was wrong and quickly asked. However, just because I won't kill you, it doesn't mean that I'll let you go so easily. You saw the women of the Green Hill Fox clan will only recognize one person in their lifetime. Since I can't kill you, then I can only marry you. Xiaonyang's face was red, and she looked incomparably delicate, but she still said boldly. Previously, she was burning with anger and had chased Long Outyen and Taoist Wuliang all the way to the 10,000 Dragons Sacred Mountain. She did not have the time to look at Taoist Wuliang. At this moment, when she took a closer look, she found that Taoist Wuliang was tall and slender, with jade-like skin and extraordinary handsomeness. His whole body exuded an ethereal and otherworldly temperament, which made her feel happy and her cheeks became hotter. What? Taoist Wuliang was stunned. It was not just Taoist Wuliang. Even Ling Xiao, Old Goat, Taoist Wuliang, Long Xiao Xiao, and the others were stunned. How could there be such a thing? Just a moment ago, Xiaonyang was shouting to kill Taoist Wuliang. The next moment, she wanted to marry him. For a moment, even Ling Xiao and the others could not react. What does this bastard do to deserve the eldest princess of the Green Hill Fox clan? Isn't he just a little more handsome than me? His cultivation is not even as high as mine. Everyone looked at Taoist Wuliang with envy and jealousy. Some people even said with grief and indignation. Taoist Wu-yang suddenly shuddered and reacted. He quickly put on a smile and said respectfully, Miss Su, what about you? I said that I want to marry you, but it doesn't mean it's now. When your cultivation surpasses mine, you'll go to the Green Hill Fox clan and marry me. Remember, if you don't come, I'll castrate you. Xiao Nyang interrupted Taoist Wu-yang and glared at him. Then, she turned and left without waiting for Taoist Wu-yang to say anything. She left Taoist Wu-yang behind, who was stunned. She's truly an extraordinary woman who acts swiftly and decisively. Ling Xiao praised. That's right. She's also an amazing woman who dares to love and hate. Old Goat agreed. Looks like I'll have another sister-in-law soon. Long Outyin nodded and said in agreement. Taoist Wu-yang suddenly shuddered as if his parents had died. His face became extremely ugly. He looked at Ling Xiao and the others and asked, what should we do? She's relying on me. What should we do? How would we know? Who asked you to be so merciful? Ling Xiao said while holding back his laughter. It's fine. Old Taoist Wu-yang, whether your Taoist clan can prosper or not depends on you. Wait until you marry Xiao Nyang and give birth to a bunch of little Taoists. That's the greatest hope for your Taoist clan. Old Goat put his arm around Taoist Wu-yang's shoulder and said with a wink. Ha ha ha, Long Outyin and the others could not hold it in anymore and laughed loudly. Who would have thought that this would happen? Just a moment ago, Xiao Nyang wanted to kill Taoist Wu-yang and even fought with Ling Xiao. Who would have thought that in the next moment, she would say that she wanted to marry Taoist Wu-yang? This kind of strange brain circuit was so strange that people could not wrap their heads around it. Those who were watching the ceremony looked at Taoist Wu-yang with envy. That was Xiao Nyang Su, the eldest princess of the Qing Qiu clan. She was a woman of unparalleled beauty in the demon realm. Countless people wanted to see her beauty but could not. Now, she was taking the initiative to marry Taoist Wu-yang. Could it be that something happened that no one knew about? After all, no one knew how Taoist Wu-yang offended Xiao Nyang Su. But now, their hearts were burning with curiosity. They kept guessing what was going on between Taoist Wu-yang and Xiao Nyang Su. Chapter 2605. The enthronement ceremony of the dragon god had ended. Sui Meng. Lathe powerful strength displayed by the dragon clan shocked the sacred grounds and ancient clans. The intimacy displayed by the 5 sacred clans especially made them shiver inwardly. Although the 5 great sacred clans were no longer as glorious as they were in the ancient times, they were still not to be underestimated. If the 5 great sacred clans were to unite, they would definitely be the strongest force in the demon realm. The eldest princess of the Qing Qiu clan, Su Xionyang, was going to marry Taoist Wu-yang of the Devouring Mountain. This made many people ponder the meaning behind this. The Qing Qiu clan and the Devouring Mountain were the top forces in the demon realm. The young lord of the Devouring Mountain, Taoist Wu-yang, was especially close to the dragon tribe. If the Qing Qiu clan, the Devouring Mountain, and the dragon tribe were to unite, the power that would burst forth was not to be underestimated. Ever since the disappearance of the Dragon King of the Automatic Dragon clan, many people in the demon realm had become restless and wanted to plot against the Dragon clan. This time, they had come to participate in the Dragon King's enthronement ceremony to test the waters. All of this made those people who had ulterior motives extremely shocked. One by one, they extinguished the thoughts of targeting the Dragon clan. In the Dragon tribe, the 4 clan leaders also left. They wanted to bring the origin secret technique back and report to the old ancestors of the 4 great sacred clans about the opening of the Chaos Secret Realm. Soon, only Ling Xiao, the old goat, Taoist Wu-yang, and Long Outyin were left in the Dragon tribe. Old friends were naturally very excited to meet each other. All kinds of delicacies, rare fruits, and nectar of the Dragon tribe were taken out. Everyone was very happy as they toasted each other. Look, what's this? The old goat was drunk and his eyes were filled with pride. He took out a few spiritual fruits as if he was presenting a treasure. The spirit fruits were snow-white and flawless. They were crystal clear like jade, but they were in the shape of a baby. They looked like chubby children. Their eyes were very clear, and they emitted a faint fragrance. "These are ginseng fruits," Long Xiao Xiao exclaimed. Her eyes were filled with shock. "That's right, these are ginseng fruits. The old goat and I obtained a total of 10 ginseng fruits in the ancient tomb. The ginseng fruit tree and the treasures in the great tomb were all taken by Xionyang Su," Taoist Wu Yang said gloomily. He was an expert tomb raider. After coming to the demon realm, he had raided countless tombs of ancient experts and obtained countless treasures and opportunities. Only this time, the tomb he found was occupied by Xionyang and she chased him and the old goat all the way here. "Ox-nosed old Taoist, if the treasures in the tomb are with Xionyang, doesn't that mean that they are with you?" "You." The old goat winked and laughed. "Go play somewhere else." One. Taoist Wuyang rolled his eyes and said to the crowd with a smile. "Thank you, brother Wuyang. I'll take it then." Long Outyen said with a smile. He took 2 ginseng fruits and gave one to Long Xiao Xiao. With the ancestral dragon's blessing, Long Outyen's cultivation had skyrocketed to the sage realm consummate realm. He had advanced 4 small realms in a row, and his realm was somewhat unstable. The ginseng fruit could strengthen one's foundation and nurture one's vitality. It was very useful for Long Outyen. Long Outyen grabbed the chubby ginseng fruit and took a bite out of it. He bit off the head of the ginseng baby and immediately tasted the sweetness in his mouth. A warm energy flowed through his body and he felt an indescribable comfort. "You're so cruel to such a cute ginseng child." Long Xiao Xiao looked at Long Outyen with disdain. She held the ginseng fruit with both hands. Her eyes were full of love. She could not bear to eat it. "What's so cruel about it? The ginseng fruit is for eating. If you don't want to eat it, I'll eat it for you," Long Outyen said innocently. He swallowed the ginseng fruit in a few mouthfuls. Then, he looked at the ginseng fruit in Long Xiao Xiao's hand and wiped his saliva. "Get lost." Long Xiao Xiao looked at Long Outyen cautiously. Seeing Long Outyen and Long Xiao Xiao bickering, the old goat and Taoist Wuyang winked at Ling Xiao as if they already knew what was going on. Ling Xiao ignored the 2 of them and took a ginseng fruit. This ginseng fruit could strengthen one's foundation. It was also very useful to Ling Xiao. Moreover, it tasted very good. Ling Xiao tasted it. "All right. Since you've eaten the ginseng fruit, let's get down to business. Ling Xiao, the ox-nosed old Taoist has found a huge tomb recently. Are you interested?" The old goat said mysteriously to Ling Xiao. "Huge tomb. Not interested." Without any hesitation, Ling Xiao rejected him directly. Taoist Wuyang had 2 hobbies. One was tomb raiding, and the other was seducing saintesses and geniuses, especially tomb raiding. Back in the war god's world, who knew how many sacred grounds and sects' ancestral grounds had been raided by Taoist Wuyang? Ling Xiao did not expect this guy to be so stubborn. He was still tomb raiding after coming to the demon world. "Ling Xiao, let me tell you. This tomb is definitely not ordinary. It's at least 100 million years old. It's very likely to be an expert from the previous era. It might even be an Emperor realm expert." The old goat did not give up and continued to say. "That's right. Ling Xiao, this tomb has an incomplete Emperor formation and powerful puppets guarding it. It's at least an Emperor realm expert's tomb. If we can enter it, we'll definitely gain great benefits," Taoist Wuyang said with his eyes shining. "Tomb raiding? Can you bring me there?" Long Outyen's ears twitched as he said with his eyes shining. "No." Ling Xiao glared at Long Outyen. Then, he glared at the old goat and Taoist Wuyang. These 2 bastards had brought Long Outyen out to fool around. Long Outyen had even raided tombs more than once. Such a good kid had been led astray by these two old bastards. The old goat and Taoist Wu Yang looked innocent. Cultivate well and stabilize your cultivation as soon as possible. Then, cultivate the powerful divine treasured skills in the Chaos Ancestor Dragon scripture. When the Chaos Secret Realm opens, you'll bear the heavy responsibility of whether the dragon tribe can lead the 5 great sacred clans. Ling Xiao said slowly to Long Outyin. All right. Long Outyin said listlessly. However, his eyes were rolling around. It was obvious that he did not take Ling Xiao's words to heart. Brother Ling Xiao, don't worry. I'll help you see this guy. I won't let him cause trouble for you. Long Xiao was getting to know Long Outyin better. When she saw Long Outyin's expression, she immediately knew what he was thinking. She quickly volunteered to help Ling Xiao. Our little princess is still the most obedient. Then, I'll leave this brat to you. Ling Xiao said with a smile as he patted Long Xiao's head. Hearing the old goat and Taoist Wu Yang's words, he was a little tempted. He was determined to dabble in hundreds of sects and integrate thousands of skills. Therefore, he had to comprehend the path of Tao validation. The inheritance of the emperors and emperors would be a great reference for him. Ling Xiao decided to explore the tomb with the old goat and Taoist Wu Yang. Chapter 2606. The Shifter Emperor's Tomb. This was one of the forbidden grounds of the Shifter realm. Legend had it that the Shifter Emperor was once buried here. The Extreme Emperor's aura transformed into Tao and shrouded the land for hundreds of millions of miles, forming a forbidden zone for life. Following. Dream. Lathe Shifter Emperor's tomb was intertwined with chaotic extreme Tao forces. Those below the Saint Realm would definitely die if they entered this place. Even saints and great sages would fall if they were not careful. Although legend had it that the Shifter Emperor's tomb contained the Shifter Emperor's inheritance and that some people had obtained great fortune and opportunity, the Shifter Emperor's tomb was too dangerous. Therefore, those who dared to enter the Shifter Emperor's tomb were all absolute experts. In the Shifter Emperor's tomb, the mountain range was undulating and exuded an ancient aura. 2 of the mountain peaks were very strange. They were like 2 divine swords piercing through the clouds and also like 2 fingers. They were thousands of feet tall and were very close to each other. The gap in the middle could only allow one person to pass through. It also looked like it was split in half from the middle. The One-Line Sky. These were 2 famous mountain peaks in the Shifter Emperor's tomb. Rumor had it that someone accidentally entered a Sage King's cave abode and obtained the Sage King's inheritance. Later on, many people came to the One-Line Sky, but most of them came back empty-handed. On a mountain peak far away, Ling Xiao, Taoist Wu Yang, and the old goat concealed their aura and revealed 3 heads. They were focused on the One-Line Sky in the distance. Taoist Wu Yang, is the great tomb you mentioned in the One-Line Sky? Ling Xiao looked suspiciously at Taoist Wu Yang and asked. Don't worry. Others won't be able to imagine that there's a great tomb hidden in the One-Line Sky. I'm guessing that this great tomb is the real Shifter Emperor's tomb. Taoist Wu Yang said excitedly. What are we waiting for here? The old goat asked. They had been waiting here for 2 days, but Taoist Wu Yang had been keeping them in suspense. The old goat was so angry that he wanted to beat him up. At this moment, the sky was already dark. The entire Shifter Emperor's tomb was pitch black and extremely quiet. There was no sound at all. Only moonlight and starlight shone down from the sky, making this area look hazy and mysterious. Today is the night of the full moon. When the moonlight completely shines into the One-Line Sky, the great tomb will appear. Don't be ime, wait a little longer, Taoist Wu Yang said with great anticipation. Then why are we hiding here? Why don't we go straight to the One-Line Sky? Could it be that there's some kind of danger? The old goat was confused. Of course there's a reason. You don't know this, but when the moon is in the middle of the sky, and the moonlight shines into the sliver of sky, the great tomb will appear. The aura of the great tomb will also leak out, and there will be powerful savage beasts from the Shifter Emperor's tomb that want to charge into the tomb. Those savage beasts are extremely powerful, so we should try our best to avoid trouble. Taoist Wu Yang said with a smile. Ling Xiao nodded and did not say anything else. Soon, the moon was high up in the sky. The bright moonlight sprinkled down like a bright silver pillar, illuminating the sky as if it was daytime. It's about to start. Taoist Wu Yang said. Ling Xiao and the old goat immediately perked up. In the distance, there seemed to be a hazy mist rising in the sky. It looked ethereal and mysterious, like a paradise. Ling Xiao saw that the one-line sky was actually like an ancient gate. Countless mysterious scenes appeared within it. It was as if it was also an unknown space. Moreover, there was a strange aura emitting from it. Roar! 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 At this moment, as if attracted by the strange aura, powerful roars came from afar, shaking the void all around. Rumble! The earth shook, and the mountains swayed. Ling Xiao and the other two could see a horde of savage beasts with terrifying auras charging from afar like mountains. Their eyes were blood-red, filled with greed and passion. They all charged towards the one-line sky. Those savage beasts had auras that were even stronger than great sages. When they charged at each other, it was as if a beast tide had occurred. It made one's scalp tingle. Even if Ling Xiao, Taoist Wu Yang, and the old goat were powerful, they would still find it difficult to deal with these rampaging beasts. What happened next was a surprising turn of events. Ling Xiao could see that the space in the one-line sky seemed to be distorted. The originally narrow space was actually able to accommodate so many ferocious beasts. Soon, all the savage beasts had surged into the one-line sky. The space door in the one-line sky will only exist for a short time. Let's go. Taoist Wu Yang said quickly and took the lead to shoot towards the one-line sky. Ling Xiao and the old goat naturally followed closely behind. The three of them were extremely fast. Like three rainbows, they shot into the one-line sky in an instant. Moreover, it was silent. It was as if there was no sound, nor did it cause any fluctuations. Just as Ling Xiao and the other two shot into the one-line sky, the moonlight also slowly moved away. The one-line sky returned to darkness and calmness as if nothing had happened. Ling Xiao felt that the light in front of him was as bright as day. Only the chaotic space was left. It was as if he couldn't see anything clearly. When his vision became clear again, he, Taoist Wu Yang, and the old goat appeared in a very ancient space. The space in front of them was like a huge cave. It emitted a gray light and was surrounded by cold mountain rocks. There was only a mysterious vortex surging in front of them. Moreover, there was a powerful formation fluctuation emanating from it. The savage beasts that rushed in previously had all disappeared without a trace. This is the great tomb I was talking about. It's in that vortex. However, that vortex is also an incomparably powerful and incomplete emperor formation. Its power is incomparably terrifying. I didn't dare to enter it last time, so I'm not very sure what's in the great tomb. Taoist Wu Yang explained. Ling Xiao looked around. This place seemed to be in the belly of a mountain. There were cold stone walls all around. They looked incomparably ancient. The walls were mottled as if they had gone through countless years and emitted a rotten smell. Everything in front of him looked very ordinary, except for the gray vortex in front of him. Ling Xiao could feel that the gray vortex was emitting a very dangerous fluctuation. Let's go. No matter what, since we're here, we can't go back empty-handed. Let's go in and take a look. A mere incomplete emperor formation can't do anything to us. The old goat said eagerly. His eyes were filled with anticipation. All right. Then let's be careful. Those savage beasts should have also rushed into the vortex. If they're all in it, then we'll be in big trouble. Taoist Wu Yang warned. I'll go first. The two of you be careful. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. In an instant, all the aura around him was withdrawn. Like a ghost, he stepped into the vortex. Naturally, the old goat and Taoist Wu Yang followed closely behind. Chapter 2607. Rumble. Ling Xiao stepped into the vortex and immediately saw lightning flashing in front of him. Heaven and earth trembled and the sky seemed to have shattered. It was as though he had arrived in a world that was about to be destroyed. Roar! 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 The roars of ferocious beasts resounded through the void. Ling Xiao saw hundreds of ferocious beasts fighting fiercely in front of him. Their eyes were filled with blood-red murderous intent. Deep in Ling Xiao's heart, a murderous intent seemed to have been aroused. He could not help but want to rush into the group of ferocious beasts and kill them all. Oh no! What a strange formation space. It can actually arouse the desires and emotions deep in one's heart. Ling Xiao's expression changed and his eyes became extremely solemn. He could tell at a glance that the world that seemed to be on the verge of destruction was not the real world, but a formation space formed by the incomplete Emperor formation. Those ferocious beasts had low spiritual intelligence and only possessed great strength. Now that they were here, their murderous intent was aroused and they began to kill each other. At that moment, Taoist Wu Yang and the old goat's eyes were red and they looked a little confused. Both of you, wake up. Ling Xiao quickly activated the ancestral dragon's roar and roared in Taoist Wu Yang and the old goat's consciousness. Both of them trembled and their eyes became clear. What a powerful formation. I almost couldn't help but attack the both of you. The old goat said hurriedly with fear in his eyes. That's right. This emperor formation is too terrifying. After so many years, its power has weakened a lot. Yet, it still has such power. We have to find a way to break the formation as soon as possible. Taoist Wu Yang said hurriedly. Rumble. At that moment, the appearance of Ling Xiao and the other two seemed to have alarmed the ferocious beasts that were fighting. Immediately, a few ferocious beasts with powerful auras roared. Their eyes were filled with blood-red murderous intent as they charged toward Ling Xiao and the other two. Get lost. Ling Xiao's eyes turned cold. While suppressing the murderous intent in his heart, he threw out a punch and sent a tiger-shaped ferocious beast in front of him flying. Look over there. That should be the core of the Emperor formation. Taoist Wu Yang suddenly pointed into the distance and said. That place seemed to be the center of the world that was about to be destroyed. The sky shattered, and a huge vortex appeared. Blazing divine light shot out from it like a heavenly pillar that pierced through the world, sprinkling down, causing the void all around to tremble violently. The void around the light pillar seemed to be distorted. These powerful beasts fought and charged towards the light pillar. Their eyes were filled with endless desire. Let's go. Both of you, try not to fight. A sharp light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. He leaped up and brought Taoist Wu Yang and the old goat towards the light pillar. Rumble. At the same time, Ling Xiao's fists filled the air. Every punch contained an incomparably domineering power, sending the ferocious beasts in front of them flying. Ling Xiao became a saint with 4 daos. Ever since he became a saint with his Tao of Heart, his heart charm scripture improved rapidly. Although the formation was strange, it could still withstand his attacks. However, it was not the same for Taoist Wu Yang and the old goat. Their attainments in the Tao of Heart were not strong. They could still barely withstand the attack of the formation. However, if they were to fight with the ferocious beasts, the murderous intent in their hearts would be aroused and they would fight endlessly with the ferocious beasts. Rumble. Ling Xiao caused such a huge commotion, which naturally alarmed the ferocious beasts that were fighting. Moreover, he flew towards the light pillar without any concealment, which infuriated the ferocious beasts. Their eyes were filled with blood-red murderous intent as they charged towards Ling Xiao one after another. Roar. The roars of the ferocious beasts shook the heavens and the earth. The ferocious beasts were extremely powerful. Among them, there were 3 ferocious beasts that were as big as mountains. Their strength had even reached the Saint King realm. Although the ordinary ferocious beasts were no match for Ling Xiao and were sent flying with each punch, the 3 ferocious beast kings still made Ling Xiao feel a little pressured. Boom! Among the three monster kings, one was a black demonic ape. Its face was ferocious and its fur was like steel needles. When it beat its chest, it roared at the sky. One of them was a snow-white, silver-colored wolf. Its eyes were cold and its claws were sharp, as if they could tear everything apart. More importantly, it possessed extreme speed, constantly leaving behind indistinguishable afterimages in the air. The last one was a two-headed Wyrm. One of its heads emanated a divine light of extreme yang while the other head emanated ice and frost of extreme yin. They interweaved together and converged into a divine light of yin and yang that was capable of tearing apart space in the surroundings. These three demonic beast kings were extremely powerful. They were not like other ferocious beasts, whose instincts and intelligence had been completely controlled by their killing intent. They still retained a certain level of intelligence, and at this moment, they saw Ling Xiao as their biggest threat. They roared and charged towards Ling Xiao. "Get out of my way." Ling Xiao's eyes were extremely sharp. He had held back when he attacked just now and did not kill those ferocious beasts. This was because he vaguely felt that if he killed those ferocious beasts, something bad might happen. Moreover, the fierce battle between the ferocious beasts was incomparably tragic. The ferocious beasts that were killed mysteriously disappeared within the array. Even Ling Xiao couldn't sense where the corpses and flesh of the ferocious beasts had gone. Boom! The black demonic ape threw out a punch. Its huge fist was like a small mountain, as if it wanted to smash Ling Xiao into a pulp. Ling Xiao also threw out a punch and collided with the black demonic ape. Both of them trembled as Ling Xiao felt the raging power of the black demonic ape. However, although the black demonic ape was powerful, it was obviously not as terrifying as Ling Xiao's physical body. Ling Xiao only took a few steps back, but the black demonic ape was directly sent flying by Ling Xiao. Kacha! The void was torn apart and a divine light of yin and yang crossed the sky, containing a murderous intent that could destroy everything. At the same time, the double-headed serpent attacked with a dragon's roar. Ling Xiao's attention was already on the double-headed serpent and the giant white wolf. At this moment, he directly jumped up and pointed his finger in the air. The finger radiance was extremely sharp, like a blazing divine rainbow that could cut off rivers. The divine light of yin and yang shattered instantly. At this moment, the double-headed serpent also pounced on Ling Xiao. It opened its bloody mouth and wanted to swallow Ling Xiao. Whoosh! At the same time, there were several afterimages in the void. The giant white wolf's speed was extremely fast, as if it was teleporting. It was impossible to capture its location. Please remember the domain name of this book. Mobile version of reading website. Chapter 2608. A blazing blood aura rose from Ling Xiao's palm and expanded in the void in an instant. It was like a five-fingered mountain falling down. It was ferocious and domineering, directly bringing the two-headed dragon down. Clang! The giant white wolf also made its move. While Ling Xiao and the two-headed dragon were fighting, its sharp wolf claws scratched Ling Xiao's back. Suddenly, 3 bloody marks appeared on Ling Xiao's back. However, when the wolf claws came into contact with Ling Xiao's bones, it felt like they were scratching on solid steel. There was no way to break Ling Xiao's bones. The giant white wolf felt that something was wrong, but its claws seemed to have sunk into Ling Xiao's flesh and were absorbed by Ling Xiao's flesh and bones. Although it was only for a moment, the violent energy in its body burst out and broke free. However, this moment was enough for Ling Xiao to make his move. Puff! A bloody light filled the air. Ling Xiao's lightning-fast grab actually pierced through the snow-white wolf's tough body and entered its body. He directly grabbed its heart and pulled it out. The giant white wolf's heart was shining with silver light. It was filled with blood aura and contained a majestic energy essence. Even after it was pulled out by Ling Xiao, it was still trembling slightly. Awoo! The white wolf let out an incomparably pitiful howl before it was sent flying by Ling Xiao's kick. The giant white wolf had extreme speed and was the most difficult to deal with. However, it was killed by Ling Zhao's trap and was the one that suffered the most damage in the end. If they were in the outside world, the three ferocious beast kings would have thought of retreating when they realized that they were no match for Ling Zhao even after joining forces. However, in this strange emperor formation, they did not know what was attracting them in the light pillar. The three ferocious beast kings were not afraid of death and once again pounced on Ling Zhao. Rumble. The battle between Ling Zhao and the three ferocious beast kings was extremely fierce. Even the ferocious beasts that were affected were severely injured and were sent flying. However, Ling Zhao did not continue to fight with the three ferocious beast kings. Instead, he moved closer to the light pillar as he fought. Ox-nosed old Taoist, fortunately you were smart and did not directly charge into the vortex. Otherwise, you would not be able to deal with these ferocious beasts. The old goat said with lingering fear. Hee, but now I'm even more certain that this is very likely the tomb of a great emperor. Perhaps it is the legendary Shifter Emperor's tomb. Otherwise, how could it attract so many ferocious beasts? Taoist Wu Yang's eyes were filled with excitement. As for the danger, he had already thrown it to the back of his mind. Anyway, with Ling Zhao in front, he and the old goat could leisurely observe everything. Wang. The ancient formation disc in the old goat's palm slightly trembled and emitted a mysterious light as if it was investigating something. However, the closer he got to the pillar of light, the more intense the trembling of the disc array became. Although the pillar of light emitted a hazy light and looked dazzling, it gave the old goat an extremely dangerous feeling. At the same time, Ling Zhao sent the three feral kings flying again. He took the opportunity to come to the side of the light pillar and sized it up as well. This pillar of light was somewhat similar to the one-line sky outside. It vaguely seemed to lead to an unknown space. Could it be that the real tomb is inside? Ling Zhao thought to himself as his heart skipped a beat. Oh no! Ling Zhao, run! This pillar of light isn't the core of the formation. It's the most terrifying killing formation of the Emperor formation. The old goat hurriedly shouted at Ling Zhao. His eyes were filled with anxiety. Rumble. At the same time, the three feral kings saw Ling Zhao approaching the pillar of light. Their eyes were filled with frenzied killing intent as they completely lost their rationality. They led the ferocious beasts in a frenzy and charged towards the pillar of light. Let's go. Ling Zhao made a prompt decision. He instantly brought Taoist Wu Yang and the old goat with him and quickly teleported into the distance. After the old goat shouted, Ling Zhao instantly felt an extremely strong sense of danger. It was as if there was a ferocious beast in the pillar of light. Boom! At the same time, the ferocious beasts under the lead of the three feral kings charged towards the pillar of light in a frenzy. In an instant, an extremely terrifying explosion erupted. Blazing divine light spewed out, causing the surrounding void to tremble violently. The pillar of light suddenly shattered, turning into a dazzling rain of light that sprinkled down. In the distance, Ling Zhao, the old goat, and Taoist Wu Yang could feel that the world around them was crumbling in an instant. Runes rose up one after another, and a terrifying emperor's aura swept out in all directions like a tidal wave. Rumble. The ferocious beasts, including the three powerful feral kings, were engulfed by the terrifying emperor's aura. They instantly disappeared in front of Ling Zhao and the other two. The emperor formation seemed to have been completely activated as it frantically enveloped Ling Zhao and the other two. Divine chains of order pierced through the void as runes intertwined like stars. The emperor's aura was completely awakened, and the emperor formation began to display its most terrifying side. Oh no! Ling Zhao's expression changed, and he immediately summoned the Heavenly Might Prison Monument to resist. In front of the fully awakened Emperor formation, although the three of them were great saints, they were like small boats in an endless sea, in danger of capsizing at any time. Don't summon the Extreme Emperor weapon. If it collides with the Emperor formation, it's likely to destroy the tomb within. The awakening of the Emperor formation is both a good and bad thing. I've already found the loophole in the Emperor formation. Now, listen to my command. 500 feet to the east. the old goat hurriedly said. The disc formation in his hand was spinning non-stop, and there was a dense mist on it. At the same time, a divine rainbow slowly flashed within it. All right. Ling Xiao did not hesitate and immediately chose to follow the old goat. Following the old goat's command, he directly flew to 500 feet to the east. Rumble. The space where Ling Xiao was originally in was instantly annihilated, and the place where he landed now was actually in a temporary state of vacuum. Divine chains of order and Emperor's aura intertwined, forming an extremely peculiar vortex. 1,300 feet to the northwest. 2,000 feet to the southeast. 3,200 feet to the south. 5,320 feet to the east. Following the old goat's command, Ling Xiao led Daoist Wu Yang and the old goat through the awakened emperor formation. It was extremely thrilling, but they were able to land in a safe place every time. This made Ling Xiao extremely surprised by the old goat's attainments in formations. The old goat's innate talent in formations was already incomparably powerful. Ling Xiao did not expect it to be able to even detect the safe spots in the emperor formation. However, Ling Xiao also knew that this was because the emperor formation was too old, and it was already badly damaged. If it was a complete emperor formation, even if the old goat's attainments in formations were exceedingly high, it would probably be very difficult to break through the killing intent of the extreme emperor's aura. End of chapter.